For those who competed decades ago, speeding down highways, through towns, country roads. For those who sat watching on the sides of the street, who found solace in chaos and thunderous speed. Even for those who grew up without the sights and the sounds, and live without race cars shaking the ground. Who don't understand why racing appeals to our fascination, wonder, and the way that we feel. A purpose-built place to camp and spend time with friends, watching racing together until darkness descends. Though no longer do the streets rumble and roar, there's a place just for this, a park to explore.
A road racing circuit before the assault. The 4 twisting, beautiful miles at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For 6 brutal, ear-shattering hours, its serenity will be violated by the raw power of screaming racing machines. It's the famed end-of-season endurance classic, the Road America 500. The specially constructed race circuit at Elkhart Lake at normal speed is a scenic 4-mile drive through fall-tinted Wisconsin countryside.
Hidden by forests near Elkhart Lake, not a path nor a trail, but a road meant to race. In a town too quiet, the refuge we seek, Road America, the racetrack, the National Park of Speed.
Road America, a timeless course that continues to stand true as one of the nation's best, the National Park of Speed, and it's the site that will determine not 1, not even 2, but 4 champions. 2 drivers, 2 teams will be crowned as the top of the North American Racing League, but not before 60 more minutes of racing. That's 60 minutes then that each of these drivers and teams must endure before sweet, sweet victory. Welcome to PitStopTV and the North American Racing League GT3 Season 2 finale. I'm Andrew Cardinale with JP Costa. JP, welcome to Elkhart Lake.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for having me. And boy, oh boy, what a finale we had for an amazing season here in ARL. I mean, arguably better than the season 1. I'd say the race has been fantastic, and what a place to have the finale. Road America, a classic racing circuit, you know, loved, I guess, by all the iRacing community. And well, I mean, the track speaks for itself. It's an absolutely massive track, 14 corners, an absolutely massive home straight. As you head down it, you have turn 1, a quite important corner, really easy to make a mistake, especially in GT3 cars. You can easily spin out and have a moment. Then you get the small turn 2, basically just line yourself up for turn 3. One of the most important, I guess the second most important corner of the track. Then turn 4 again, just line yourself up for that downhill braking zone into turn 5, a small uphill into turn 6, small straight into a very fast kink into turn 7, then again a downhill braking zone into turn 8, and one of the most famous corners on this racetrack, the carousel, turns 9 and 10, really easy to make a mistake, really easy to overdrive your car and just carry a bit too much speed. Then you head into the kink, another difficult, tricky, dangerous corner around Road America. Then you have the cattle bottom straight, turn 12 Canada corner. I mean, one of the most famous one of the best overtaking opportunities of the racetrack. Then turn 13, and obviously the last corner, probably the most important corner as you're lining yourself up for the absolutely massive home straight to do it all over again for 60 minutes.
And if you had to list the most important corners, I don't know if I can list them by importance, but the most important corners here at Road America, easily turn 1, 3, 5, 6, 9 and 10, 12, and 14. So that's a lot of them around this course. Out of the 14 corners, I think I named off about a half of them. Certainly turn 1, of course, that sets your lap. That starts off your lap in the rhythm that you're going to be in. Of course, turn 14 really starts your lap because that gets you going for your lap. But I digress. You go down to turn number 3, and of course, that gives you that long straightaway down literally to turn number 5. 6 gets you ready for the kind of almost infield feeling portion. That gets you ready for some more difficult, more technical corners before you go into the carousel that is very, very important to your run down to Canada Corner. Of course, you've got to get through Canada Corner as quickly but as stably, if you will, as you can, and then turn 14 wraps you back around. That is a look around Road America. Thanks, of course, for joining us this evening. However, and wherever you're watching from, this is it. No more messing around, no more opportunity for failure, only opportunity for success this evening, as these are the battles we'll play witness to. Pedro de Oliveira is clearly poised to claim the Pro Driver title, William Coffey the AM title. That said, this is a look at how everything else is going to be into this race and everything else that might yet be decided. I look at battles like 3rd and 4th in the pro category. Brian DeVries and Kevin Sandiego literally tied and just ahead of somebody that can easily pass them, Matthew Dench. Scott Reister's right there. Jackson Rossendi after his penalty at Phillip Island, he's in that mix. Fabio Zamperlini isn't even too far back, and that brings in Scott Kimbrough and Mikel Rudebusch into the conversation. So really, aside from the top spot, everything else in your pro top 10 and even further down to the top 15 or 20 is very much open in their own respects. You go over to the yellow side, the amateur side, and there might still be opportunity for Diego to get William Coffey, but it's going to be tough. It's everything else that looks very interesting. 5 drivers actually, in the 40s as far as the deficit to William Coffey. Those are guys that are close. You could actually make it 6 drivers that are within 10, 11 points of each other, from Joshua Benjamin in 4th, all the way down to Dom Angelicchio in the 9th position. So again, lots yet to be decided here, JP.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everything's only going to be decided after the 60 minutes of racing. I mean, even after that, we may see some penalties being applied post-race. So, everything can change. And being so close together, obviously, there's a lot to play for. And obviously, when you look after for the team points, Full-Time Esports may have that on the bag. Team Empire and ARL Team Empire might have a surprise, but with the performance that Full-Time has brought on the past few races, it's going to be hard. And obviously, the battle for second place arguably is still up for grabs. Obviously, Dark Horse Esports and Dark Horse Racing, only 1 point separating them each. Then we have a massive gap to Evolution Racing. When we look to the amateur side, Rabbit Chase Racing with an even bigger gap to what Full-Time Esports have over Team Empire, 50-point gap to Team Empire Blue, and then a 16-point gap to Wahuka Racing. So second place is still up for grabs in the amateur side. And then when we look at 4th place, Car Racing, they haven't had the greatest of forms on the past few races, but if they can have a good race, a solid race today, they may secure their 4th place spot.
Yeah, again, there's a whole lot here, and certainly opportunities for drivers and teams to move up and down, just like the driver championship. There's a whole lot left to be decided. Now, it looks good, certainly, for each of our leaders in each of our categories, be it driver or team, pro or amateur. It looks good for each leader, but everything else is yet to be decided. And honestly, Full-Time Esports can still lose this team or constructor championship. They can still lose if NARL, Team Empire get up there, and those would be guys like Scott Rice or Scott Kimbrough, I do believe. So that's why they're so close. Really, it's Pedro de Oliveira S and Jackson Rossendi versus Scott Reister and Scott Kimbrough, and I feel like speed versus consistency right there, certainly. Speed for Full-Time Esports, consistency for NARL and Team Empire that you've got to watch out for in these battles, which leaves us then looking to qualifying to get this whole show on the road. Pedro de Oliveira S, already off to a good start in practice. He's 1st, but Fabio Zamperlini, he's 3rd. He could play spoiler. And of course, Kevin Sandiego coming into this race, he's tied for 3rd. So watch out for him.
Yeah, exactly. We have to watch out for a bunch of drivers. Fabio Zamperlini so far doing, I guess, his best job of the season so far. Haven't had the greatest of seasons, only 1 podium, and that was in Belle Isle. So, I mean, still, I guess he's hoping for a strong end of the season like he did last season actually. If you remember, Andrew, he snatched the title on the final race of the season, pretty much with less than 50% of the race to go. So he's probably looking to end the season on a high and line himself up for a strong season 3.
And yeah, Season 3 is certainly on the radar for these guys. Sign-ups already open, the schedule yet to be completely confirmed. We'll get that to you on social media, I'm sure, around the holidays, as that is fast approaching, so keep an eye out for that. But not a whole lot to talk about with that yet. Right now, the focus is definitely on this race and the 60 minutes coming up for these drivers, the 1 hour of racing, the 2 pit stops that these drivers and teams each have to make still. A lot can happen. A lot can go wrong, certainly, for each and every one of these drivers, and you gotta wonder what might go wrong then for each of these guys. We've seen so many different things over the course of time, go right, go wrong. We've almost seen it all, but it always seems like they find a new way to surprise us each and every week.
Yeah, exactly. Each and every single week, even with our personal doubts, they just come in and steal the show. They do absolutely everything they can to post some nights racing, and tonight is gonna be no different. I mean, again, this might be my favorite racetrack that I've raced personally on the schedule. And I mean, Andrew, we see fantastic racing around here. Remember Opmo, the fantastic race we had with 2 laps to go, plenty of people running out of fuel. That was fantastic. And I mean, this one shaping up to be even better for 2-stop strategy for everybody. Boy, oh boy, this is gonna be interesting.
It certainly could be, and it's going to get started here in just a few moments. Before, though, we've got a quick break to go ahead and take. We'll be right back to you from Road America.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Thanks for staying with us through that quick break. We certainly appreciate it. Qualifying is underway. You can see only a couple of minutes already elapsed. That just gets these drivers' warm-up laps out of the way. We're already looking at some different drivers. Here's Joshua Benjamin. Oddly, he's in a Ferrari. I've not seen that yet out of the driver with the number 178, so that's a little bit interesting. But I also noticed he's teamed up. He's got Longshot on the side, which I believe is now the same as William Coffey. Yes, those are sister cars now. That's very interesting to note between 2 of the top amateur drivers in this series. And boy, what that could mean potentially for next season of this North American Racing League. But let's look a little further throughout the field. Here's Scott Reister, also in a Ferrari. Seems like the Ferrari, the car of choice so far. We've seen 3 of them and nothing else. Oh, well, there's an Audi.
It's a bit of a, I guess, division between the guys. We remember, Andrew, the first round was pretty much a Ferrari show. Obviously, the car was very overpowered. It had a massive straight line speed advantage. So some of the drivers might be looking for that as they choose the Ferrari. The Audi might be a bit more of a personal choice. I guess you can touch in on that. You're more in tune with the high racing BOP, I'd say. But, as long as your car works for you, that's everything you need. You know, you need a good car balance. If you just pick up the faster car and you're not comfortable with it, well, you might as well throw your race out of the window because you're not going to be fast enough. So even if you pick the slower car, if you're in tune with it, if you're just one with the car, you're going to be fast enough.
Here's Matthew Casey still in a Porsche. Fabio Zamperlini in his usual Audi. William Valdez this evening in a Porsche for Wahuka Racing. Good to see him back in the field. Johnny Jones out there in a Lamborghini. Looks like that's just a trading paints livery. Osmar Camargo, one of the pros for Full-Time Esports. Pedro de Oliveira S, though, we have got to see what this guy does in qualifying. No times turned yet, not a single lap completed. So we'll see those here coming across the line momentarily. Here's Diego Era, he's working up the front stretch, and this should, I say should, complete a lap across the line. Does it? Yes? No. He might have gotten an off track. No, it does complete a lap. It just took a minute to populate there. He went 5th initially, now slowing down a little bit. Brian DeVries initially on pole. How about that for the 221? Oh,
and
he's
a
off.
Decent gap. Oh, there we go. That's how easy it is to essentially get caught up in the exit of turn 1. And yeah, so far 2/10 gap. That's going to be really good. Pedro de Oliveira 1.5 seconds off, so that might have just been a banker. Fabio Zamperlini, there we go. That's what we're kind of expecting to see from our reigning champion. Goes faster. I mean, 1.5 tenths. That's a decent gap as we're looking on board with Pierre Thompson. Now we switch to Bryce Rodriguez on a 299. Looks like he finishing up his lap. Yeah, that's exit of turn 14. No, that's not.
Yeah. That's only out of turn 3. He's just begun, and that current time bottom right, that may be accurate. Hopefully it is. We'll see. Sometimes iRacing likes to play tricks on us, but this is a driver I'm really watching forward qualifying. He had a lot of pace in practice. Very quiet these last couple of weeks. Actually had a qualifying ban last week at Phillip Island that had slipped by me. That explains why we didn't see a whole lot of him, and he had another comeback race just like Hungaroring. So qualifying ban, put him in the back, had to come back through the field. Did a pretty good job of it this week, though. He gets to qualify. Fabio Zamperlini, I'm glad you mentioned him. He's looking quick. That Audi is working for him. I didn't think an Audi would be a car of choice here today, but here we go.
Yeah, exactly. The Audi has been working for a few drivers. I'm not quite sure what Matthew Dench is driving, but Brian DeVries in second place as well, driving the Audi 2. Matthew Dench, there we go. Top 3 for the German manufacturer. So far, no Ferraris, I think, on the top 5, but we may see that change on the second lap. So Matthew Dench only 1.7 tenths away from pole. You know, it's close enough. You can definitely find that time on the second lap. And, well, if last week was anything to go by, well, he's definitely got, you know, a strong end of the season.
Yeah, that juiced Frog Leap Racing team is really, really good. Bringing him on board, I think, was a great move for them. And they have certainly, well, through him, shown a lot of promise. He's quick already. Joshua Benjamin, I noticed, moves up in the amateur category. He's now almost into the top 20 overall. Mark Scott moves up. He's now 17th overall. Just watching times rein in. Let's see where Matthew Dench goes after his third win of the season last week at Phillip Island. I think he's got a little bit of right front damage. Austin Powell goes a bit quicker. Bryce Rodriguez to pole. And Matthew Dench is only good enough for 4th now on the board. Kevin Sandiego went a lot quicker, so now he's in the mix of things. And Bryce Rodriguez, I told you to watch out for him. He's quick in qualifying, albeit a little bit off track in 1.
I mean, and what a comeback that would be from a qualifying ban last time around to pole position tonight. I mean, that's the way you turn around things. And, you know, his race pace has been absolutely fantastic. Last week, as you mentioned, with the qualifying ban, he finished 7th place. So, I mean, that's huge. So he knows how to get the job done on track. Only 2 podiums so far in the season. If he starts on pole, he might be a strong contender not only for the podium, but with that race, with that pace, at least on qualifying, that could be looking good for him.
Looking now at your amateur pole sitter, at least provisionally, he's 9th overall, just a little bit. In fact, 5/100ths of a second ahead of Matthew Casey at the moment. Diego Era, he's looking for a big race. He could still win this championship, I believe. If I recall correctly, it's a margin of 19 points between he and William Coffey. He can still win this championship, I think. He's just got to be able to get a good enough result, and so far this qualifying effort is looking like it. Now, William Coffey stacks up currently in qualifying as Diego's going to go off track a little bit. William Coffey's down in 23rd. He's going to have to boost that up. He's over 10 positions, about 15 positions behind the guy that he needs to beat.
Not only that, he's over 9 tenths. Yeah, damage already. Nearly 9 tenths of a second slower, so that's not going to be good. Obviously, that damage is definitely going to be slowing him down, but I mean, he's going to be starting way back, and we all know how Road America can be dangerous sometimes. You know, anything can happen on the start. So, you know, Diego Herrera is doing absolutely everything he can. You know, starting on pole, might be leading. He already has a pro car between him and second place on the amateur class. And William Coffey, there we go, coming into the pit. So that's going to be qualifying over for him, and that's probably going to be 23rd place.
Yeah, he definitely needs to bump up that effort throughout the rest of the day. Matthew Dench drops a little bit because somebody just went faster, and I believe it was Brian DeVries. It was up to third in qualifying. And you know what? Let's pull the points back up. Let's let qualifying run its course for a moment. This has been a really impressive season that we've not talked much about for Brian DeVries and Kevin Sandiego. Both of these efforts have been really, really stellar. I say that, and our champion to me goes fastest. Yeah, he goes to the top of the board. You can see him there through the standings graphic, but we seriously have to point out that the seasons that Brian DeVries and Kevin Sandiego have quietly had, and it's been certainly a season of attrition for each of them, just notching top 5s, top 10s, wherever they can, keeping in the good end of the points, and capitalizing when other drivers have problems. Scott Reister at Hungaroring, Matthew Dench multiple times this season, Jackson Rosende a couple times this season, including last week, even Fabio Zamperlini, Scott Kimbrough, Mikel Rudebusch, they've all had problems or have missed races, so Brian DeVries, Kevin Sandiego, consistency has put them in 3rd and 4th in this championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at the point standing right now, and well, neither Brian DeVries or Kevin Sandiego have had a podium finish so far. Their best result was a 4th place for Kevin Sandiego and a 5th place for Brian DeVries, who actually happened last week. So, you know, consistency is the key on this championship. You know, they haven't won a single race. Meanwhile, Matthew Dench won 3 races, but still 6 points behind him. So, you know, that's sometimes, you know, what you have to balance. It's what we talked about on the team standing: speed versus consistency.
We are about ready to go green flag racing from Elkhart Lakes Road America. We'll take a look now at our starting grid for the 8th round of 8 in the North American Racing League GT3 season number 2. Pedro de Oliveira S, our champion to be, starts first. That number 250 is the car to beat, has been the car to beat since we unloaded at Monza way back in October. And Bryce Rodriguez, second in points, going to line up second on the starting grid. Starting third this evening at Road America, Fabio Zamperlini, reigning NARL champion. Can't say anything about it as far as the championship, but can at least get back into a battle for a race win. He'll try and do so tonight alongside Brian DeVries, starting from the 4th spot. Starting 5th, Kevin Sandiego. He's got an opportunity to match his points position. Look at that. The top 4 in points are starting 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th. Matthew Dench is 5th. He's starting 6th. The top 5 in points, right about where they should be. Fabio Zamperlini, he's another top 10 driver in points. He's up there. Incredible effort from each of these guys this evening. Matthew Dench starts 6th, starting 7th, and Scott Reister, right about where he should be. Scott Kimbrough, the trend continues here throughout the top 10. Go back to 9th. Pierre Thompson, maybe an outlier, but he could move himself into this top 10 in points tonight. And look at that, Diego Herrera, I'm working on it. The amateur pole sitter. There we go. We got it there, finally. The amateur pole sitter, position number 10 for the start of this race.
Starting off in 11th place, we're going to have the full-time esports driver of Oscar Camargo in his 251 Ferrari. Alongside him is going to be Matthew Casey in the 141 car in 12th place. In row number 7, we're going to have the 2 drivers of Pablo Ferretti in the 113 and Mike Braun in the 107 in 14th place. Starting off row number 8, we're going to have Austin Powell in the 155 and Jeff Castillo in the 110 in 16th place on the outside lane. On the inside lane, in 17th spot, we're going to have Sonny Brown in the 115 and the 112 of Dominic Angelicchio in 18th place. And finally, on row number 10, we're going to have William Valdez on the inside line in 19th, and 20th place will go to the 172 of Daniel Hall.
Starting 21st for race number 8, it's Mark Scott. He's got a race win for the first time in his NARL career. Came at Silverstone not so long ago. Starting to his left side, somebody else who got his first win this season, Brian Long, who won at Detroit. Starting 23rd, Rahamis Rodriguez in the number 123. Starting 24th, it's Rob Rodriguez. Rob Rodriguez is there. I like that. Starting 25th, it is Will Coffey. He has got to move through this field that is our opening storyline, I think. We have got to watch the driver of the 157 in this race. He cannot finish this far back and expect to win this championship. Johnny Jones will start alongside. Starting 27th, it is Joshua Benjamin, Will Coffey's teammate. We'll see if he can help his teammate move through this field. Kenneth Michael starts 28th. Starting 29th at Road America, it is Armando Bejaran, somebody who was oh so good last season. We'll see if he can end this season on a high note. Sean Patterson will join him back here. Only 3 more cars in this field, JP. They are Jackson Resende, a qualifying ban, I would imagine. Blake Scott, I don't think he qualified at all. And Billy Bowerman. That is your 33 cars starting grid from Road America. The pace car already down to the carousel.
And pace car for the final time will be seen this season, so you know, nerves obviously are going to be on a high. Pedro de Oliveira might be feeling a little bit of pressure, and obviously the pressure might be all on William Coffey to deliver a great comeback race. It might be easy to overtake, you know, there's plenty of opportunities. That doesn't mean it's going to be, you know, just a smooth walk for him. He's going to have big challenges as we're taking a look at the track temperature, 81 degrees Fahrenheit, but a very strong wind, Andrew.
Very strong indeed. Air temperature checking in right about 79 degrees, just under 80, so a nice warm day for these guys in Elkhart Lake. I bet they wish they had that right now. But yeah, that is very strong wind. Out of the southwest at 13 miles an hour. You can see the trees waving a little bit, 14 miles an hour for a moment, so about 14, 15 mile an hour gusts. Depending on how that comes across the racetrack, I might be able to check it real quickly, but that actually could affect these drivers in certain corners. Let me see if I can kind of figure this out on my own here. I don't know that with the trees it's going to be that big of a deal. That should make a difference for these guys. If it's coming out of the southwest, that could hurt them in... You know what? I think they're pretty much safe. I don't think that's going to really hurt them anywhere. If it hurts them anywhere, it would be at a kink or maybe Canada corner. That shouldn't really affect these cars too much anywhere else. So I don't think wind will be that much of a factor, but it is an abnormally windy day here for Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. I guess it would be windy in December, maybe not without the snow, though. We'll see how these guys get this race started in just a few more moments. Into turn 13, Bill Mitchell Bend, and now turn 14 for the final time before getting this race underway. We thank you so much for joining us here at PitStopTV. This has been a fantastic season of North American Racing League racing. I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else other than JP Costa by my side, and all of you watching. We're waiting on the green flag. One car already off. Green flag in the air. We're racing at Road America. Jackson Resende starting from the pit lane. He'll join the field now. Kenneth Michael may have been that car that we saw off in the dirt. Through turn 3, the front of the field is nice and clean. They'll go down to the DRS zone that they will not use because these, unfortunately, are not Formula 1 cars.
No, unfortunately not, but the racing is just as good without the dirty out as we do have already. Looks like a few battles side by side. The refs fallen within a train. The grid goes absolutely cleanly through turns 1, 2, and 3. Now they head into the downhill braking zone into turn 4. Looks like the lead remains unchanged. In fact, I'm pretty sure the top 5 remains unchanged. But I mean, that doesn't mean Pedro de Oliveira doesn't have any issues from behind. He's getting chases. We do have, looks like, is that Brian DeVries making a move?
It was him almost getting past there. Matthew Dench with an early aggressive move there, trying to get by Brian DeVries. Now he's going to have to wait. This is into turn number 8 for the first time. And they'll work into the carousel underneath the Speedville USA Bridge. And I got to wonder, does the Canada corner maybe end up being the opportunity for Matthew Dench on lap 1? If he wants to get up there and win this race, draw even with Pedro on a season, oh yeah, it's going to happen right here. Maybe not. I'm surprised. I thought Matthew would have taken that and had that position by the king.
What a drive he got out of the carousel. Absolutely amazing rip. Somehow he made that work. Can we see a dive into Canada corner? Looks like Brian DeVries goes defensive, so he wants to retain that position for now. Matthew Dench abides his time, still waiting on the wings as we do have a few battles further behind.
Amateur lead right here.
Oh, that's the amateur lead. So Diego Harry trying to hold into his position as he's in pretty much a Porsche sandwich. He has to be careful because, well, If he's in the lead, that's all he needs to do. He cannot take too many risks and throw that possible championship out of the window.
Well, he has lost the lead and second place to Matthew Casey and Austin Powell. They've both gone on by the number 177, so he's been relegated to third with company for fourth potentially, and Pablo Ferretti in a McLaren. So Diego Eda has got to get moving in this race. He can't hold up at all, much like, of course, William Coffey. William Coffey, how's he doing after this first lap? Well, he's lost one spot, and he's watching a battle out near the windshield. That is Blake Scott up the inside of Armando Bejeron, looking for that spot into turn one. Blake gets it, and William is 26th.
That's not the start that William was looking for, especially after a good weekend last time out in Phillip Island. Luckily for him, he may capitalize on the battle of others, just like the one we're seeing ahead of him. If he can get a good line, he may get a better run on that Porsche right ahead of him. I mean, it's not going to be easy. He probably has to take risks at this point to make sure he gets into a championship winning position, but still, it's going to be dangerous.
You see the position marker bottom right of our telemetry graphic, and man, 26. That's a lot to come back from over the course of this race. He's got two pit stops to help him through it, but that's a lot to ask of any driver at Road America. It's so hard to work through a field here because it's so draft dependent. So if you lose that draft to the next group ahead, of course, it's going to be much harder to make up time. I do like watching this onboard shot, though. Just watching the whole field work through these corners is really nice at the start of a race, seeing how everybody gets into a groove, and potentially how losing front downforce following a car could be affecting this 157. I think Williams mostly okay, but it seemed like he had to lift a little more than I would have thought.
Yeah, maybe, you know, all the whole train may be affecting him just a little bit. And obviously, as soon as you start losing a bit of front downforce, you're going to be pushing those front tires a little bit more to make sure they grip. So that might mean a worse tire to the end of the race. I'm not quite sure, as he's very, very confident in the braking. So I'm not quite sure what the strategy might be on Williams' head right now. Does he go aggressive on the first stint and try to get as many positions as he can? Maybe just save a little bit and try to make, you know, just a small overcut on the first round of pit stops. I'm not quite sure what he's gonna do, but I mean, he has to have that plan laid down already to make sure he gets any chance to fight back for the championship, because right now it may not be looking so safe.
Yeah, and ladies and gents, in case you're wondering, this is our amateur point leader. He's coming into this race in a great opportunity, a great position to try and win this title, as one car is off. Who is that? Oh boy, William Valdez with problems. Sonny Brown with problems. Thankfully misses our point leader. We'll watch this through turn 3 at least so they can calm down for the moment. That's Blake Scott up the inside of Daniel Hall. Contact there. William Coffey does not like what he sees here. We're actually going to stay on board with this all the way through turn 5 at the very least.
It looks like that battle may help him out, but obviously he may be getting nervous as he's trying to navigate his way through 3 cars as they're battling. As you can see, just
don't
make it 3 wide. Oh, that's gonna be contact between those two. That's gonna be Daniel Hall. Oh, is that gonna be 3 cars?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, unfortunately for William, he tried to take avoiding action. Maybe if he just took the racing line, he would have gotten maybe 2-3 positions. But right now, it looks like he lost maybe even 4. So a bad start, gone even worse for our points leader.
Armando Bejeron, that was a bad move. I'm just going to be honest. Unfortunately, William Coffey now down to 31st of 32 cars that are running in this race. I can't believe that. I genuinely cannot believe that William Coffey is this far down the order, and it comes because of that incident in turn number 5. He already wasn't doing great, let's be honest, but this didn't help.
No, it did not help at all. He tried to find a safe way through essentially the mass that was caused. But unfortunately for him, you know, just being way too cautious cost him way too much. As you can see here, we're going to see a bad move being made. We essentially see contact down on braking on the Porsche. Tries to find a way 3 wide.
3 wide on lap 3. You just don't need to.
Yeah, absolutely not. As you can see, then William Coffey just, you know, just trying to make sure his car gets to the end of the race. And unfortunately for him, he's going to be dropping all the way down to second to last place. And man, oh man, this is getting quite tense for him. He hasn't had a single, I guess, a finish outside the top 10 so far this season. Right now, he's 31st place.
He's still in 31st. I mean, this is stressful even for us to, you know, try and figure all of this out. And I mean, this is only going to help Diego Eda. Let's mention that. This is only going to help Diego in his championship pursuit. This could be everything that Diego needs right now in this race. we might be talking about a different champion. And either way, we could be talking about an amateur champion that hasn't won a single race this year in class. So really has turned this entire day on its head. I mean, this is, I don't know, this is crazy. Back up front, you did see the notification quickly that Pedro de Oliveira S has gone purple that last lap through. That was lap number 3 they completed. They're now on lap number 4 of an expected 29. We'll see if that changes. See, about 25 laps to go. That seems about right, as looks like Beer Thompson going to pick up a spot and go by Scott Reister. The battle that we saw earlier on between Matthew Dench and Brian DeVries, yeah, that's been sorted out. Brian DeVries lost that spot.
Yeah, looks like, unfortunately for Brian DeVries, he's going to be conceding that spot to Matthew Dench. If he has the pace, he can maybe just stay in touch. You know, they're running similar cars. They're running, actually, not similar, the exact same car. So, you know, he just might save fuel for a little bit, you know, just for the first round, trying to get that track position after the first round of pit stops. And, I mean, Bryce Rodriguez on second place, doing a fantastic job, albeit half a second behind Pedro de Oliveira. That might just be enough to save, you know, enough fuel to essentially just, you know, undercut the leader or overcut the leader after the first round of pit stops, maybe get the track position that might be important. But, well, he's doing a fantastic job. Fabio Zamperlini is still in a strong third position. That might match his best result of the season so far. So, only time will tell. 51 minutes to go still in this race.
Yeah, 51 minutes to go and endless, I think, twists and turns in this race left to go. While we have, I think, a calmer moment in this race, I think that the season that Pedro de Oliveira has put together must be celebrated as well. 4 wins of the season, that's half of the season. That's actually over half right now, and looking to keep it over half of the season. That would be 0.625% win percentage if he can win this evening at Road America. But, I mean, it's just been incredible. Absolutely incredible. I don't know any other words, really, as Bryce Rodriguez, he thought about taking a look, but it's just, I don't know, from having a race where we had 4 drivers in the championship hunt last season at Donington Park to now it's 1 driver, 30 points clear of them all. It's a stark difference, and I think it shows how good of a season, again, Pedro has put together.
I mean, Pedro put an amazing season. You're absolutely right. Maybe, you know, if we take Pedro out of the equation, you know, it would have been a good season as well. We would have, you know, a leader less than 20 points away, you know, from the rest of the field. And then we would have had an absolutely close top 4. He has just put an amazing season, as you mentioned, you know, absolutely faultless throughout the season. You know, he made a single mistake last time around that we remember, and his worst result was Belle Isle. Was the only time he finished outside of the podium. Even outside of the top 2 essentially throughout the season. So I mean, just practice, you know, as we talk to him week in and week out, you know, it's just straight up practice, hours and hours and hours of practice. And well, he just can nail each and every single circuit, you know, just perseverance for, you know, patience just pays off. And well, he showed the field how it's done over the course of the season. And well, a lot of these drivers are coming to season 3, you know, with a new mindset. They know what kind of driver they have to race against, and well, he just upped the bar a lot on this season 2.
He's got a half-second gap currently back to Bryce Rodriguez. If you want to learn more about our championship competitor potentially, our championship leader into this race in amateur, well, he's in 29th now. So up 2 spots. He passed Daniel Hall and William Valdez, but actually, I think he passed Billy Barriman, as Billy Barriman has got issues. This is into the kink. It's a weird place to crash.
Yeah, and that's into the kink, so he hasn't crashed outside of it on the exit, as we often see on many cars. So I'm interested to see what happened. Maybe the exit of the carousel, he may have just dipped a wheel on the grass. We're going to have to take a look to see what happened to the number 102.
He's actually got multiple crashes here, and this is for Team Empire White, I believe, in the amateur class out of California. In an Audi this week, and I believe the first issue is in turn 5 coming up right here. We'll take a look-see here from our drones high above the speedway, and oh yeah, clip the dirt into braking, and oh my goodness. Thankfully, that's a virtual hit, not a real hit. That would be pretty vicious if this was a real car. But he gets through the next couple of corners fine. It's out of the carousel where he's got problems again. I believe it was a matter of him catching the outside grass and going for a ride. We'll see just to confirm.
Yeah, that crash is absolutely massive. I'm pretty sure that car is not going to be pointing 100% into the right direction after that crash. As you can see, he's pretty much resumed to the racing speed that the car allows. You know, the aerodynamics and everything allow him to be. As you can see, the car is pretty much snaking already through the braking zone, so probably suspension damage, all that sort of stuff. That crash reminded me of the Ferrari crash we had a few years ago that absolutely destroyed that car. As you can see now, the 102 coming into the carousel. He does it quite beautifully, actually. Does he clip the outside grass? I wonder. We're gonna have...
Yeah, that's more than in the grass, and that explains
there we
the
go.
trip off into the chicane there that gets used pretty rarely. There's now been an issue up ahead, though, for our winner from last week in Amateur. Mike Braun has just had a problem. We'll get a look back at it here. He was following Diego through, I think that's turn 7 it is. That is turn 7. This will be down to turn 8. Both in Audis. This is 3rd and 4th, or at least it was at the time of this incident, in the amateur class. 14th, 15th in overall. And here we go to the carousel. Potentially another issue in the same corner.
Yeah, potentially. It looks like that carousel is not being too kind on the Audis on the exit. As we're going to take a look. Does he clip? No. So it may have been later. Maybe on the kink. That's a place where we often see issues with plenty of GT3 cars. Does he catch the ramp? No. So... oh, there we go. We do have a car drifting across, not drifting, but essentially mowing the lawn on the exit of the kink as the 107 goes deep under braking to Canada corner. That's going to do it. Does he get a small clip from behind?
Yes, there was a little bit of contact. There, I mean, there was the slightest bit of contact. That may have been more so netcode contact than anything, but the ever so slightest bit of contact there certainly is now. A battle is, well, just taken place between Diego and Mark Scott. This was for 4th now in Amateur. Diego's out of the wrong direction. I mean, he's got the best opportunity of his season to capitalize on, and unfortunately, it's just not happening right now.
Yeah, looks like the qualifying pace, it's not really translating into race pace right now. He cannot really get the car into a rhythm. As you can see, he just got passed by Mark Scott, I'm pretty sure, and he's already falling under pressure. So, you know, it's not really helping him out. It's Castillo right now. It's chasing him down. He might be feeling the pressure a little bit. That's going to help out William Coffey a lot, seeing his rival essentially falling down the order lap after lap. So Diego Area, if he still wants a shot at that title, he needs to essentially find that qualifying pace, find that rhythm, find those lines that help him get on pole to essentially, you know, just pull him back into P1.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really confusing race already in Amateur. Of course, we've well documented the issues down there for William Coffey. Now, Diego, I don't know. The car is just going the wrong direction right now, and here soon, he could easily be passed up by another few drivers and drop down to where even if, oh, Pablo Ferretti's pitting?
Oh, that's going to be early. Yeah, less than, over 15 minutes.
I guess it's not that early. We're already 15 minutes into this race. I guess it's not completely out of character.
So obviously an undercut right here would be extremely unusual, because obviously you're going to be running with more fuel on the car, so your car will be heavier. As you can see right now, Diego Area might be losing the position to Castillo. Does he? No, he holds his ground on the exit of turn 3. Will the Ferrari have the legs on the Audi? As looks like we're going to have another driver approaching. Yeah, the Ferrari will just soar past the Audi. As you can see, just the insane difference that they have on straight line speed. It looks like he's going to have the outside lane. Diego Area will have to concede. Does he go for the under and over? Cannot really get there. And unfortunately, that's going to be another position drops. He drops into P15 at the moment, already falling a little bit under pressure. As we do have a battle further ahead, that's going to be for, if I'm not mistaken, P10.
Oh, we got a crash. Yeah, that's definitely not a good crash. That's been a problem. Unsure exactly of who all this is. That is the number. We're on Armando Bejaran. Another problem here. And some other drivers involved. We'll see if we can get a look at things. It's going to take just a moment. Well, here we go. This should show us, this is down to turn 3. Turn 3, I think. Yeah, this should be turn 3 here. And Herd America, it all looks the same. It's all beautiful, but it all looks mostly the same. So the issue, I guess, is down to turn 5. William Valdez, potentially a part of all of this as well. So here comes I believe that's Dominic. No, that was not Dominic. Who? Well, I just lost it now. Armando Bejaran and one other car making contact, and that's the end result. So there's a lot, I think, to go through here.
Oh!
That was the 142, I think. Do we have a 142? Yes, that was Johnny Jones.
I was not expecting seeing those two cars coming into contact that early. I mean, essentially, while you're still flat out, you're not even braking at that point in time. So something definitely happened between those two. Is that a late move? I mean, the Lamborghini already looking down the inside, so I wonder what happened here. Maybe, oh, the Porsche kind of cuts him, I guess, a little bit.
I think they kind of drove into each other twice.
Yeah.
Because they drove into each other on exit there. But I think they migrated towards each other. I don't want to spend too much more time on it just because we've got other battles throughout the track, especially the one that we were looking at briefly between Austin Powell and Osmar Camargo, and Austin Powell has gotten on by. Now, I apologize to Osmar. We've had his name in the mix here the last few weeks. I still cannot, the first time anyways, cannot get his name right the first time through it. I always got to redo it. I don't know why.
Those Brazilian names, sometimes they'll catch you. How many times you got my name kind of wrong, but, you know, I guess that's a Brazilian thing. Unfortunately for him, he's going to be dropping out of the top 10. He had a great run at Hungaroring prior to his penalty. And, well, he looks quite strong, so now he has just, I mean, he needs to essentially just pull him back, pull his back. Looks like he lost 2 positions, actually, not
Matthew
just
Casey
one.
went by 2. So that's first and second in amateur that's gone by Osmar right now. And they're working into the rest of the top 10. I mean, that's very impressive from Austin Powell and Matthew Casey. These two Porsches working on through the field. The next amateur driver up would be Mark Scott, who is down in 13th overall, just a little ways further back. You can kind of see the margin there. Yeah, I mean, this race is shaping up quite nicely. I do still worry, of course, for our William Coffey friend, but here's a little battle. Blake Scott and Jeff Castillo.
And these two have just gone past Diego area. Looks like Scott lost the position to Castillo because they were switched around a few laps ago. So now the Lamborghini tried to get his revenge on the Ferrari. Looks like he got the bar exit, but he's diving into the pit lane. We do have more cars into the pit lane. So, well, looks like the pit window for the first time, it was open a few laps ago, but right now it looks like the rest of the field might be following up. And this is a really difficult track to post an overcut, Andrew. It's really hard to save extra fuel. Looks like we're gonna have Bryce Rodriguez on the pits, but not Pedro de Oliveira somehow.
Well, it's an easy track and a hard track to save fuel at, right? Because if you're the following car, you're in draft all day long. If you're following somebody, if you're on your own, as Bryce comes out right behind William Coffey, if you're the following car, you can lift a little bit, and you likely do have to lift a little bit once you get too close to a car in front. Here's Diego. We'll watch his pit stop here and see how long he takes. It's easy and hard. If you're the leading car, or if you don't have help, you probably will use more fuel. But if you're able to sit behind somebody and lift a little bit so as not to pass them and just keep riding there, you can definitely save a good bit. Diego takes 15.85 seconds to leave the pit box. That's one of the shorter stops. It's faster than Brian Long, Mike Braun, Rob Rodriguez, Johnny Jones, and Armando Bejaran. Actually, no, not faster than those two, Johnny Jones and Armando, but faster than Blake Scott, faster than Mark Scott, and faster than even Bryce Rodriguez in the pit lane, or pit box rather. So Diego maybe trying to underfuel, understand maybe that he's, drafted a little bit and try and save a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure Bryce Rodriguez's pit stop was actually a 16.2, so 4/10 quicker. Well, that's a big gap, especially when you're standing still on the pit lane. So that's going to be tricky for Bryce. We're going to obviously have to see how long Pedro de Oliveira stays on the pit box. And this is obviously not helping him as well. He's tucked behind William Coffey. He's going to be losing a few tenths of a second. And all eyes are going to be on Pedro de Oliveira. Does Matthew Dench stay out on track?
Matthew Dench has gone on. Yeah, he has stayed out.
Wow.
But Pedro's in, Fabio, Brian DeVries, Kevin San Diego, Scott Kimbrough, Scott Reister, Pierre Thompson, Austin Powell, Matthew Casey, Osmar Camargo, Jeff Castillo, Radhamas Rodriguez. They're all pitting right here. Dominic Angelicchio might go on. No, he's pitting. Jackson Rosende, he stays out. His name isn't rendering, unfortunately, but wow. Everybody pitting here on lap number 10 onto 11. Pedro's stop longer than Bryce Rodriguez by over a second.
Oh. That might change the complexity. We're gonna have to see where those two. Oh yeah, Bryce. Yeah,
Gone.
Bryce got him. Yeah, not by a huge gap. Maybe a second and a half. Oh boy, somehow
But has Bryce
Bryce got
shown
him.
his hand too early?
I mean, it could be. Obviously, right now the advantage just swings back into second place. Obviously, he can now fuel save. We're gonna see Pedro de Oliveira fuel saving quite a bit as long as he can get within the draft range. You know, as long as he can get, I guess, less than 7, 10, 16ths of a second, he may start to fuel save right now to get the position back into the second round of pit stops. So, you know, now things are gonna get interesting for the next 20, 15, 20 minutes until the second round comes. So, well, now things are gonna get feisty.
Yeah, this is interesting. I have to wonder if maybe this is a little bit too early for Bryce Rodriguez to make that pass, only because we can easily see the same switch up at the next pit stop if it is dependent on draft and fuel. We'll see. This is Matthew Dench leading us through the field. Well, leading us, I guess, through the racetrack, through the lap, and he should, I say should, come in this time in the Juice Energy Formula number 283 into pit lane. He shall go. So Matthew Dench then will come in, and Jackson Resende should follow on this lap. The Frog Leap Racing machine is in, and the full-time esports Ferrari should follow.
I was gonna say, remember when I told you how difficult sometimes fuel saving is around this track? How difficult sometimes it is to get an extra lap around Road America, as I'm pretty sure Jackson's heart rate just kept the beat. You know, they just may have just peaked a bit on the exit of Canada corner, but you know, with the length of this track and how long you stay under full throttle, it's difficult enough to get an extra lap, let alone 2 for these two guys. I mean, how much fuel saving were you doing on that first stint? We're gonna have to see how long he stays on the pit lane. Probably might be one of the longest, as his tank might be one of the driest ones. Looks like 16, 17. We're gonna see 18 seconds. Yeah, there you go, 18 seconds. So his tank may have just been on the final drops of fuel. So he's gonna exit maybe a little bit short, a little bit behind
Fabio in front of Brian DeVries.
So there goes. So pretty much he holds position, although he creates a nice gap to Brian DeVries.
The thing to consider, though, with these pit stops is you can see that... Oh, well, that's Dr. Underforce, apparently, but that is Joshua Benjamin in the pit lane in front of Jackson Resende, so we'll follow Jackson back onto the track here. But the thing to consider for these guys is... Well, I guess the pit strategy and, you know, who went long, right, is the fact that everybody came in the previous lap, and these guys only went one lap farther than the majority of the field. So I think, if anything, Bryce Rodriguez was 1 lap early. Pedro de Oliveira S and the rest of those guys, they were on target. And these guys that just pitted are 1 lap beyond what we would have expected. So, yeah, I think these guys are pretty safe. I don't think it was 2 laps. I think this might have been more like 1, which makes it, obviously, then a lot more realistic. And also, these guys have 35% fuel load to an actual GT3 car. That gives you about 25 minutes, I want to say, depending on draft, depending on how much fuel you use. So it works out nicely. We've gone 25 minutes in this race.
Yeah, and the other thing to consider between those two, even if they win an extra lap, if you can go 1 lap further on this team, I mean, my math might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have 2 less laps of fuel to refuel on the final pit stop. So, you know, might not be a lot, you know, might be, I guess, a second, maybe a second and a half on the pit lane, which could gain them a lot of positions depending on, you know, how farther away they are from their rivals on track. So, you know, we got to keep an eye out for them on the next 20 minutes to see if they're fuel saving, if they can stretch for another lap, and well, how much less fuel they're going to put on their tanks, and could really help them on the final strategy.
You're now looking at your amateur race leader, Austin Powell. Not really sure where this guy came from in this last race, but man, is he good. He's in front of Pablo Ferretti currently for this race lead in amateur. These guys working through turn 14 as the leader is some 22 seconds up the road. I believe it's around turn 1, turn 2, that area. Pablo Ferretti, I wonder if that McLaren is going to allow him to get the, I guess, the gusto that he needs on these straightaways. It's a car that's known for attacking, but he's kept faithful to the McLaren all season long, I do believe. I don't think I've seen him in anything but the Macca, so more power to him. Just a matter of making it work here at Road America as we race on.
if you make this car work, it can be an absolutely weapon. And wow, I'm pretty sure it's showing its colors right here. I mean, he's running a strong second place, and if he can keep this up, I mean, he might get past the Porsche right ahead of him soon. And
that would be for the lead.
Yeah, that would be for the lead. That would be, I'm not quite sure if it would be his first win. I'm going to have to check that out. But, I mean, it's going to be a really strong result for a McLaren. I'm pretty sure he's the only one. We saw Matthew Dench running in McLaren in the early parts of the season, but has since changed his car choice. And, I mean, Pablo Ferretti doing a fantastic job. And we love to see the McLarens, don't we, Andrew? There's something special about this car, especially those back flames.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you mentioned that. Mike Baron has just had a scary moment. I believe Blake Scott. Yes, Blake Scott, Osmar Camargo. Here we go. Problems. Oh, my goodness.
Oh. So we're going to have... Oh, that was a dangerous rejoin. Looks like only one car was collected as Blake Scott. Does he tow back to the pit lane? Looks like he did. Jeff Castillo was caught up in that. Looks like they're rejoined by Oscar Camargo. Hit his car T-boned, and as you can see, major damage to that door side. Maybe just unfortunate for him. We're gonna have to take a look at what happened. Looks like that was on the exit of turn 6.
Yes, you would be correct. This is Osmar Camargo and Blake Scott battling down to turn number 5. Very recently, we've got more problems with Jeff Castillo live, but we'll watch this replay first, of course. Osmar, slow on exit, had to give, I'd imagine, time back potentially into turn 6. Oh, the car got loose. What happens then to Blake Scott? Where does he get it?
Oh,
so that was Mark's car that he was racing, and Blake Scott hit him.
Yeah, unfortunately, not a big hit. Somehow it may have just been collected, and oh, unfortunately, a dangerous rejoin collects another driver. As you can see, the Lamborghini of Blake Scott just parking it, so I'm not quite sure if he got enough damage to essentially force him down into pit lane. I'm not quite sure. That didn't look like too big of a hit, but unfortunately, that's not the way you rejoin the track.
It isn't, and this has been something that's been talked about amongst drivers and admins before, and I think the stewards will have a long look at this and talk more about it, because you cannot rejoin the racetrack like this. You cannot drive across the racing line right there. These cars have reverse. You can reverse and get yourself into a safe position. That's what you have to do here. It's a very odd... I don't know what it is. I genuinely don't. It's something I've noticed more recently than ever, but something about most GT drivers, and I hate to say this, but it just seems like people forget about reverse. There is reverse. Just reverse off the racetrack. You'll save your fellow racers. And, I mean, in fairness, a lot of these guys, they all come from different backgrounds. We don't know exactly how much experience they have. So that is something you learn. And I just hope that each time it happens, that driver learns. This is Jeff Castillo, though. He's got a problem a little further down the road. I want to... Oh, well, there it is.
Yeah.
Right off into the dust in the carousel.
Yeah, he absolutely lost it midway through the carousel. Comes back, looks like, unfortunately... Yeah, looks like that's some out of frustration, but yeah, that car was way too damaged to even continue. He completely lost it on his own. So unfortunately, that might be it for Jeff Castillo on tonight's race. Unfortunate end for him as we do come back live. No, that's going to be another replay right from Brian Long, as he may have been involved. Is that Diego Aire?
It is. Contact there. I think that forces Brian Long off. He gets back on. And now... problems well up the road, live for Scott Reister. Let's check this out. He's coming in already. Oh, he's got tons of damage. Massive damage for Scott Reister.
Oh, yeah, that car, it's not going to be done for the
Dominic
day.
with problems. He's off at, I think, turn 4. No, that's Canada Corner.
Yeah, that's Canada
Brian
Corner.
Long is off. This is out of the kink. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Brian Long was already struggling. Maybe that contact completely, I guess, damaged his suspension, because on the exit of turn... Yeah, on the exit of turn 7, he rejoined the tarmac, but unfortunately came out on the grass. As we're looking now, the 242 of Scott Reister. I'm not quite sure what he hit to get that much damage. I mean, it has to be a wall ride.
Rather hard, too. We'll see. Oh, Bill Mitchell. Ben got him. I can see how that one happened. Here's Dominic. This is a problem up ahead, and this might tell us what happens maybe for... No, not Brian Long, I guess, but this is in front of Mike Braun and behind one of the red... Yeah, that's one of the full-time Ferraris. That might have been Jackson. I think that is Jackson Rosende that he was behind. Just off in Canada Corner. That's easy. That's not so bad compared to some of the other issues. Where's Brian Long? We got to find him and see his issue here.
pretty sure Brian Long's issue was, I mean, that contact, that small contact with Diego Area, because, I mean, I'm not quite sure. He just lost it afterwards. I'm not quite sure what happened to him, unfortunately. Battling for essentially a top 5, I'm pretty sure, on his class, to dropping massively. I mean, we're going to see he does go down the inside of 2 cars. That was kind of a beautiful move for Brian Long. He may have been feeling good about that one. He goes side by side with Diego Area. Diego essentially pushing him to the inside. Yeah. And then look at this small contact between those two. Diego goes down the inside. He gets a small contact. Is that enough to damage the BMW? Because look at it. He comes back on the tarmac and then goes into the grass. So I'm not quite sure if the suspension is damaged at that point.
It's driving like it. I wonder if he hits anything else trying to save it. I don't think so. Oh my goodness. This race.
Yeah, that car is crabbing.
Yeah,
look at
it is. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, that small contact did that much damage. Ah, that's got to be heartbreaking for him.
What has just gone on? Viewers, if you have an idea of what's going on, Johnny Jones now with a problem. Oh my goodness.
As we're approaching, I guess, nearly the midway point of the second stint, looks like trouble for each and every single driver. Looks like it's appearing at this point in time. As John Jones looks like, does he have a problem on the carousel or the kink? The 142 Lamborghini drives his way, looks like smoothly on the kink. Does he go too wide? He dips the wheel. Oh, at that point, there's no saving. Does he rejoin? Oh, luckily he doesn't collect anyone, but that Lamborghini might be done for the day.
I recall a similar issue for another driver in another league, Sarah Rabb. Man, about a year ago now in the Pacific Challenge GT3 series. Very similar issue in a Lamborghini as well here. Just got wide of the carousel, got that dirt, and right back into the wall just like that. Very, very similar. This is back live and with your race leaders. So after all of that chaos, right at halfway, we get back up front. This is the battle for the overall lead. Wow.
Wow, indeed. I mean, still very much live. Fabio Zamperlini within 2 seconds of these guys, so he's doing a fantastic job as well, considering 4th place is well over 8 seconds behind the leaders. So doing a fantastic job. Now the question is, will Pedro de Oliveira stay behind and save fuel, or will he go for a move? He's close enough to try and line himself up for a move. Bryce Rodriguez has been driving faultlessly throughout the night, but I mean, it's Ferrari against Ferrari. Pedro's definitely gonna have an advantage. Getting that air punched for him, but looks like it might not be close enough for a move down into turn 1. But you know, turn 1 is sometimes all you need is to line up for the next massive straight.
Now on this far side of halfway, I find it most interesting that we don't have a battle for the amateur lead right now. Well, I mean, there is and there isn't. Pablo Ferretti's still there. But I've been watching this over on the relative, or over on the timing sheet. I am so surprised that these guys have not gotten side by side yet. And all of that, all this opportunity, the fact that they are not battling is astounding. As this happens, here we go. I think Pedro finally got sick and tired of waiting behind Bryce Rodriguez. This race is throwing me for a loop. I don't know if I can keep up. Pass made, though, for the race lead. Rodriguez now down to 2nd as they look again. Thought about it. Now we'll look back to the outside for turn 6. Not going to happen there.
Yeah, not gonna happen. Looks like Pedro de Oliveira might have just got the move done for this part of the circuit, as now he's leading once again, as he was during that first stint. Bryce Rodriguez, albeit, I mean, he's very, very close. You know, that move, that position is not, it's not done and dusted. You know, he's definitely gonna fight back, and this battling has allowed Fabio Zamperlini to close in a little bit for these two. As you can see, 2 different lines being done on the carousel. Pedro essentially doing a more wider arc to cut back in and get a better exit. Meanwhile, Bryce Rodriguez doing the small, tighter line to be safer, and Fabio Zamperlini, as you can see, just behind those 2. So, I mean, this is very much not over.
Oh. Heard one car a little bit slow maybe for a moment, but I think we're okay. But on the far side of halfway here, I do want to thank all of our partners with the North American Racing League. There are a few of them, at least in this series. Race Lab helps you, of course, to improve your driving skills with modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR virtual reality integration. you can get the best out of iRacing with RaceLab. Start using it now for free at racelab.app. And they've got a giveaway for these drivers in the series coming tomorrow. That'll all be announced tomorrow after the season is all said and done. Keep an eye on the North American Racing League social media for that. I think most notably on Instagram. That seems to be where they are most active. So again, NARL social media tomorrow. They've got a giveaway from RaceLab. That is really, really cool. To see these partners activating within the series is oh so special. We need more of that in sim racing. TAM Liveries offers custom packages for some of the best livery designs in iRacing. Used by pros and amateurs alike, you will definitely look good on track. They will make sure of it. TAM does a great job, handles most everything, if not everything, graphic design related in the North American Racing League. And believe me, he does a fantastic job of it. A lot of these paint schemes, particularly for Team Empire and some others in this series even, are painted by TAM Liveries. So by all means, look out for those and look out on their social media for all of his work. JS Consulting provides custom website and app development, including iRacing League website design and hosting. That means the North American Racing League website, yeah, that's done by JS Consulting. That is proof of the quality at jsconsulting@johnsedlak.com. Couple of pit stops picking back up. Couple of drivers pitting a little bit early. Those being namely Joshua Benjamin, and there was one other. I got to look for him now. Maybe just Joshua Benjamin, actually, to this point. No, Pablo Ferretti as well. So Pablo pits out of that battle for the race lead in amateur, and he cycles now in front of Rob Rodriguez. That leaves Austin Powell, your race leader, outright in amateur. He's got a gap of 5.8 seconds back to Mark Scott. Really, the closest battle on the track is actually for fourth now. Brian DeVries, Kevin Sandiego. While I was getting those readouts, I noticed they were pretty close, and they stay close now through Bill Mitchell Bend.
Yeah, they're going to be close. I mean, it's essentially nearly a carbon copy of the battle we have for P1. Two identical cars going at it. I mean, this is well and truly not over, as Kevin Sandiego is still chasing. Is that Fabio Zamperlini? So Fabio made a mistake, looks like.
No, it should update here. So these two just switched.
Oh.
Wait for it. There we go. Now it's
there we go.
So these two just switched in the last lap. DeVries caught and passed Kevin Sandiego, and yeah, there you go.
And you notice something, Andrew. These two are battling for third place. They're tied on points. I mean, this is all for grabs. I mean, whoever finishes ahead of the other is going to go third place. Something similar to what we saw last Sunday on Formula 1, isn't it?
Yeah, and likewise, we mentioned how these drivers had been out of the top 5 until last week when Brian DeVries got a top 5 finally at Phillip Island. And I don't think Kevin Sandiego has a top 5 yet to his name. All top 10s in consistency with these drivers. They are both now in the top 5 with a fantastic chance at a top 3, at least for one of them, if any issues arise ahead for any of our top 3, Pedro de Oliveira S, Bryce Rodriguez, and Fabio Zamperlini. Mark Scott is in the pit lane, and I mentioned a lot of partners here with the North American Racing League. Another one that I have to give a shout out to is actually in the YouTube chat. Hello and welcome to Daniel Morad. He is getting so involved with this series. You hear weekly at least 1 or 2 drivers shout out Daniel Morad for his coaching, and it really, really does make a huge difference. The coaching that he has given to these drivers has really helped up the level in every range, be it top, middle, bottom, in between somewhere. It has really helped so many drivers, and not just in the North American Racing League, but on the iRacing.com platform, and I'd imagine even into real cars. So, fantastic race car driver, fantastic race car driving coach. Daniel Morad, a fantastic partner then of this North American Racing League. We'll see him more involved with the Porsche Cup season that is coming up later on, well, I guess in early 2022. More details on that soon as well. We're still watching this battle. This is actually closer than the race lead between these two, DeVries and Sandiego. And I wonder who was the first one to pit.
A mistake.
He's pitting. He is pitting. So it's actually a good thing to notice there, but thankfully, rest easy. Bryce Rodriguez in the pit lane.
My heart kind of got racy there, seeing that guy absolutely drop. So the first lead driver that made the first pit stop on the first stint, he's, well, opening the pit stop window essentially for the rest of the field. So we might see Pedro de Oliveira diving in on the next lap. And we're gonna have to take a look at the pit stops, because last time around Bryce was faster than Pedro, but this time around we might see a flip out. Obviously this is a very tricky track to underfuel your car, because if you run out of fuel, I mean, the finish line is very, very far away from the final corner, and it's an uphill battle. We've seen cars running out of fuel but on the final straight, and they didn't make the corners. Looks like a 15.6 second stop for Bryce Rodriguez, as now Diego Aire comes into the pit lane, probably trying to undercut his competition.
That's accurate for Bryce. Mike Braun now in the pit lane as well, along with Diego, and maybe a champion right here in the making. Number 177, Diego Aire. He's not quite in the race winning position that I think he needs to be, but still looking pretty good. A little bit of a slow approach there to the pit box. That could hurt him quite a bit.
And on the best angle of exit, obviously he's going to be pointing to his left-hand side to exit. We're going to have to take a look how much fuel he puts in. He goes for 15, 16, 17 seconds. So that's 1.4 seconds actually slower than Bryce Rodriguez. So not the ideal. Maybe a bit extra fuel just to attack his competition on the final part of the race. Could be an interesting bet. And he rejoins, looks like, outside the top 20. He's
21st,
actually 21st. Yeah, there we go. So 21st place for him. The rest of the amateur field yet to stop, though.
We do see and notice Frog Leap Racing out in the chat. Frog Leap Juice Racing. Matthew Dench sits 5th for them. Not quite the day that maybe he would have wanted to follow up last week's effort at Phillip Island, but at the same time, you got to consider Phillip Island the one race that Matthew Dench should win. So now maybe a little bit of a downtick, a little bit of right front damage there as he's going to come into the pit lane along with Fabio Zamperlini. And, oh, we're being told that Dominic, oh, that is massive damage. And he's got a message on the side of his car. You can see it there. A nod to the Alfa Romeo drivers of Antonio Giovinazzi and, of course, Kimi Räikkönen, who have left F1, or at least their rides with Alfa Romeo after this past season in 2021. A nod there, kind of bringing those messages that Alfa put on their cars in real life to his car here in the sim. And let's take a look at this for Dominic Angelicchia, one of the drivers that's recently reached out, been very active within the community, and that definitely goes certainly noticed. Does not go unnoticed, I think is the better way to put it. This is a problem for him, though, out of turn 7 or 8. That's 7, down to turn 8 now. And I think this is where the problem arises.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be on the exit. He may dip a wheel into the gravel trap. Oh, he dips a wheel actually on the exit. Tries to get the car stopped, but unfortunately cannot get the car stopped. And hopefully he does not follow the same fate as the two drivers that you just mentioned. Unfortunately, both of them DNFing on the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Hopefully he can keep going on the racing up at least until the end. But only time will tell, as with 15 minutes to go, Pedro de Oliveira looks like he's still out on track. So it looks like the Bryce Rodriguez came out 2 laps earlier at this point, so could it cost him on the pit stops?
Only time will tell, right?
Exactly. Well,
comes in this lap. I don't think he goes any further than 15 minutes to go in this race.
Yeah, looks like Fabio Zamperlini already made his pit stop as well. So yeah, looks like only Pedro de Oliveira, Brian De Vries, and Kevin Sandiego are still yet to stop. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, looks like those two are still yet to stop. Will Coffey actually, without stopping, is the amateur race leader at this point, albeit he's going to drop a few positions, as this is a very long, very slow pit lane. And, well, it costs a lot of time. Yeah, as you can see, Bryce Rodriguez, 32 seconds right now. Looks like, yeah, looks like the leader might be on pit lane.
Yeah, Pedro's in. We're watching that here. Brian De Vries follows. You can see Dominic leaving the pit lane. And side by side, Kevin Sandiego and Brian De Vries. They're going to come side by side to their pit box. We'll see how that one works out for them. But Bryce Rodriguez thundering up the front stretch now. Yes, at the turn 14. Oh, a little bit wide. Keep that nice and tidy there, Bryce. Does he pass Pedro de Oliveira S? Pedro's not left the box yet. Now I think it's out of the box. Took a lot less fuel. Where does Bryce filter in? A 13.5 in the box for Pedro. You can see he's already up the road. He is going to hang on to this lead by a long shot. 3.5 seconds for Pedro de Oliveira S. That's the margin. Out of the pit lane, a 2-second difference in the box. That's huge.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge, and that might just secure his race. Obviously, if he underfuel, he might have to fuel save a little bit. Only time will tell if that gap drops between those two. So 3.4 is the time to watch. It should remain at that point. Now Will Coffey, our amateur points leader, stops. We might be looking at what, 15, 16 seconds stop. Might be a bit less with only 13 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Looking maybe at a 13-second stop, so a shorter one. We're gonna have to see where he comes out, but by his comeback, he might just be safe enough. And obviously Diego Arias not having the pace to hold on into the lead. I mean, he may have just dodged the bullet right here.
We'll see. He is out of the pit lane, 13.18. That puts him right behind Matthew Casey, Mike Braun, and Diego Arias. That should be enough for Will Coffey to hang on to the championship in amateur. That is big. That is very big, ladies and gents, watching at home. Oh boy. So all of that drama in the first 5 minutes may be out the window for William Coffey, but he's not home free just yet. Up front, the gap's still 3.5 seconds and change now as Pedro de Oliveira putting in some work on this lap, this outlap for him. I don't think we've seen any tires taken in this race for anybody aside from drivers that may have crashed, so they're all still on worn tires. That means cold tires of the pits, not an issue, thankfully, for each of them.
Yeah, but this track is not 100% easy on the tires. I mean, it's unlikely to see any tires drop off. So, you know, probably going to be out of the equation. But this battle is definitely not at the occasion. Fabio Zamperlini benefiting from a later pit stop than Bryce Rodriguez has reduced that gap significantly to less than 3 seconds. I mean, less than 1 second essentially at this point in time. And I mean, that just might be enough, as looks like Matthew Dench jumped 2 drivers somehow.
Yeah, Kevin San Diego with a problem here. I think Matthew Dench had already made the pass on Kevin San Diego and Brian DeVries, but there are problems. Oh, was that? Who was that off in the grass? That was Matthew Dench. That was very scary. Hopefully you saw that, guys. That was, whew, that's not where you want to be through the kink here at Road America, but this is Kevin San Diego this last time through. He's had a problem somewhere in 13 and 14. This is 13, Bill Mitchell Bend. I think it's actually out of 14. That's where the smoke was an issue when we picked this up.
Does he go wide into the exit? Probably might be losing a little bit.
Yep.
Oh no, he dropped actually on acceleration maybe. That car did. Oh, that's going to be heartbreaking to lose on the entry of the biggest straight on the circuit. But unfortunately for him, it looks like maybe a bit of throttle happy at that point in time. Ended up losing his car, and that might just be 3rd place on the championship, slipping away from him.
And a win, slipping away from Bryce Rodriguez. I mean, we thought he was in a prime opportunity to at least contend for the race win and battle with Pedro de Oliveira, and Pedro said nope, slapped his strategy on the table, and has taken off by 3, almost 4 seconds. And at this point, if you're Bryce Rodriguez, it'd be easy to get discouraged. But I think you've got to press on here. You've at least got to keep 2nd place. And with where Fabio is right now, and the fact that Bryce just lost 3 more tenths to Pedro, I mean, you have got to be careful.
Yeah, at this point in time, you have to be careful with only 10 minutes to go. Obviously, you're going to be losing a little bit of time, falling under pressure from another driver, and obviously that another driver is the reigning champion. So seeing the number 1 might be a little bit daunting, but, you know, he just has to keep his composure. Probably the win, as you mentioned, it might be out of the equation, 3.8, so the gap keeps on rising as Pedro right now, with essentially clean air, he can just drive his race. So only time will tell. Obviously, William Coffey, as we mentioned, you know, he started 25th, got as high as 13th place during the rounds of pit stops, or as low as 31st, but right now in 18th place, only a few spots shy, only a few positions shy of his title rival Diego Arias. Boy oh boy, somehow he turned the tables, didn't he?
And it's only an 8-second gap up to Diego right now. This is very promising all of a sudden for Will. In the top 20, he's looks like 4 seconds back. Admittedly, of the next car had Matthew Casey, but problems for Red James Rodriguez might help William Coffey in the point situation. It's certainly going to help Diego. Where's Will? Here comes Will Coffey, and he'll go on by Red James, but problems now for the 123. He gets back going.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, again on the exit of turn 14, that has to be the worst place on the circuit to make a small mistake. So unfortunately for him, he's going to be giving out a lot of positions. This guy, albeit, I mean, hasn't given up, looks like a single position throughout the race. Fabio Zamperlini doing a fantastic job trying to get that 2nd place. I mean, we haven't really talked to him so far in the season. His best place finish was the 3rd place, so we're still yet to talk to a reigning champion. And well, if he keeps this pace and if he makes a brave move on Bryce Rodriguez, we might just talk to him for the first time.
Yeah, we'll see as Bryce Rodriguez in the Canada corner here. Behind the trees, it looks like, but this is the look at things. They're following a lapped car. That is, I believe, William Valdez in a Porsche. That may have been Armando Bejaron. That was Armando that they just lapped. And thankfully, Armando made it easy on these two, but that still backs Bryce Rodriguez up just a little bit. With 8 minutes to go, I think the door is open for Fabio Zamperlini for a second place effort here at Road America. And what this would do for his points, I mean, he comes in, down in 8th? 7th, thereabouts. I mean, this would be huge to turn his season around right at the last minute, end it on a good note, and go into 2022 with, I think, certainly reason for high morale.
Yeah, exactly. He's 8th on points, 10 points behind Scott Reiser. So a 2nd place finish while Scott Reiser is down in 7th place. It's going to do him lots of favors. And as you can see, he's just getting closer and closer on those braking zones. So Bryce Rodriguez might be feeling the pressure, but you know, he has the advantage. He's on the prancing horse. He has the legs on the straight, but we might see the Audi going for a late dive, especially down here. The door is wide open for you to make a dive. Can we see the Audi pointing to the inside? Not quite. So 7 minutes in, might just be biding his time, trying to line up a move for the final lap.
Fabio so close here, turn 6 now under the Corvette bridge. We'll have a look at turn 7 with 7 minutes to go. Austin Powell, meanwhile, is still leading in amateur. He's got 2 seconds to closest competitor, Paolo Ferretti. That battle's been broken up just a little bit by pit stops.
Yeah, that battle might, again, you know, just a bit of a gap created during the pit stop. So Powell doing what he can to hold on into that amateur lead, but you know, might just be enough. 6 minutes, just keep the car on track, and you might be on course for a fantastic win. And I mean, these two, both of them have to keep their car on course while driving absolutely flat out. Not a chance right now on pace. They might catch the leader. But I mean, it's got to be a bit frustrating for Fabio, doesn't it? You know, driving this close to him, but unfortunately, due to your car choice, might just not having the legs on the straight.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Look at all the work he's put in. He's moved in to Bryce. I wonder if he's sitting back and just waiting. Kind of biding his time a little bit, knowing how good he is, knowing how easily he can get up there in the draft and get after Bryce on entry to a corner. I think even with the slipstream here, yeah, he's kind of kicking the car out to the right a little bit, maybe trying to get a little bit air resistance, keep him back a little bit. That's a NASCAR trick, actually, to keep a little bit air on the nose. Usually, that's done in the corner to help downforce following a car, right, on the bottom side. They keep the nose a little further to the left, a little further to the inside. That increases downforce on an oval track and helps the car turn. On a road course, down the straightaway especially, that can help back you up a little bit and create a little bit of a gap. Meanwhile, problems. I mean, huge, massive problems for Scott Reister. You do not want to be pitting with 5 minutes to go, yet here he is.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, that's going to be costing him a lot of positions. This has to be fuel, doesn't it? I mean, 5 minutes to go.
And with his crash we saw earlier, I think he had to pit before the window was open. I think that's why he's in. You do also see Osmar Camargo. He's been in the pit lane for 16 minutes now. I think he may have been handed a penalty by stewards in the race and been asked politely not to continue racing. That could be a stretch, so I don't want anybody to think that's official, but that's kind of what it looks like. He's just been sitting there for about 16, 17 minutes.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, that's probably not the best way to end the championship. Unfortunately, again, for Scott Reister, he's going to be dropping all the way down into 13th spot. No newer tires to essentially create an advantage for him over the competition, so he has to get those few seconds. If he wants to get in the top 10, it might be a bit of a stretch. That's going to promote Austin Powell into 9th position and Pablo Ferretti into 10th, so two amateur drivers on the top 10. That's going to be a great result for them, as this battle is still very much alive. I mean, the Audi is just seeing stronger. I don't like that. Oh no.
Matthew Casey, I think, has recently gone for a spin. The car is okay, it looks like. It may have even been about 30 seconds ago, but there's a look at him. He has jumped well out of the running order in amateur. I looked up, saw the red notification on my screen. He's definitely had a problem. He's lost a lot of time to drivers ahead that he was battling, like Pablo Ferretti and Austin Powell. But regardless, 4 minutes to go across the start-finish line. This is tentatively 3 to go. That may change. I think it's more like 2.
Yeah, might be 2, might be 3. I mean, only time will tell. We had the white flag being dropped on the final straight, didn't we, Andrew, at times? So, you know, I mean, the leader will have to dictate the pace. He has a 5-second gap, so if he wants to race, I guess, an extra lap, he might just push on a little bit. If he wants this championship to be done and does it, he might just slow down a little bit. I'm not quite sure what he wants, but I'm pretty sure Fabio wants an extra lap and Bryce wants this race to be done as quickly as possible so he can retain the 2nd place.
Bryce Rodriguez needs these points. Now, he's not going to catch Pedro de Oliveira S. It's a championship at this point for Pedro, unless he crashes now, right? But this is still very, very worth it to Bryce to get these points and finish as highly as he can, and that's a big mistake in turn 7 with Fabio Zamperlini. Caught the grass on the outside, then the inside, then the outside again. Now regrouping, turn 8, looked good. And he's so much better in the hard braking zones, the sharp corners, but the Ferrari is so good into and out of corners, able to push into braking and certainly accelerate on out. So this is a fantastic car battle at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. 2 different philosophies. Looks like the Audi, obviously, as you mentioned, a bit more of a technical car, right through the technical part of the circuit. The Ferrari, a bit more of a muscle, you know, just pushing out that engine on the straights, creating a small gap by those few kilometers an hour of an advantage. And, well, I mean, so far the Ferrari seems to be the quicker car. Fabio Zamperlini doing absolutely everything he can to try and change that result.
This should be white flag.
This, yeah, as we're gonna see, does the white flag drop? Within a few seconds, we're gonna find out.
White flag is out at Road America, presented by Tucson Sound Art. Battles throughout the field, but it's all Pedro de Oliveira S out of turn number 1 at Elkhart Lake for the final time. And he has got 4.5 seconds almost, 4 1/3 thereabouts right now on 2nd place Bryce Rodriguez. Fellow Brazilian doing some work to distract him right now. Fabio Zamperlini is all over the 299. Pedro can simply cruise on home to a championship in the North American Racing League. Fantastic payouts each and every race. If I recall, at least triple digits per race, let alone a championship, in what this would mean to full-time esports.
Not only full-time esports sport for him as well, he has been vocal about how much this helps him out. So, you know, that's an extra drive, that's an extra push, an extra motivation for him to win and to practice well over 30 hours each and every single week. So, you know, dedication has been on an all-time high for Pedro de Oliveira. It has definitely paid off. I mean, his worst result was in 8th place. Outside of that, just 2 second places and 4 wins, coming home to his 5th win in 8 races. I mean, what a championship.
Been fantastic the entire way through. Fabio Zamperlini took a stab at Bryce Rodriguez, no dice. We'll keep watching Pedro de Oliveira S. At this point, a parade lap. Able to wave at the virtual fans. Take one last look at the virtual trees under green flag condition, I suppose, if he'd like. At this point, he can do whatever. The world is his. Canada corner for the final time, and we've said it so much. We've accentuated it so much throughout this entire season. How impressive this full-time esports entry has been for the number 250. And how good he's been. And there's a crash. You're kidding me.
Oh,
we'll cover this after. Pedro de Oliveira S deserves this time out of the final corner at Road America. Pedro de Oliveira S brings Brazil yet another championship in the North American Racing League. Takes it home, 5 wins out of 8. Congratulations, Pedro. A stunning effort all season long.
Absolutely perfect season for the Brazilian driver. Matthew Dench somehow on the final laps comes home in 2nd place. That's gonna be looks like Bryce Rodriguez in 3rd place, and Fabio Zamperlini looks like he's gonna be dropping quite a few positions out. I mean, what a final lap we had over those positions.
Fabio finished 4th. They both drove back to the line in sequence. Out of turn 14, here we go. Austin Powell Ooh, maybe you think he was going to the pit lane there for a moment, but Austin Powell will come across the line. An amateur race winner, stealing that win from championship competitors. Pablo Ferretti will follow him. Jackson Resende then at 11th. Mark Scott will come across the line 12th overall. Scott Reister with him. And Scott Reister stays just far enough ahead of Diego Eda to prevent a points advantage even further there as Mark and Scott, they battle across the line. Here's Diego. I don't think he's got enough positions over William Coffey to win this championship. In fact, no, he's only got 2 spots over the number 157. Tentatively, we think William Coffey is your amateur champion. We'll wait for official confirmation.
We're going to have to wait. It looks promising for him. I mean, what a comeback drive. Jackson Resende as well, a fantastic comeback drive from essentially last place. As you can see here, the celebration between those 2 Brazilians. Essentially, Fabio Zamperlini handing out the trophy, handing out the number 1 to Pedro de Oliveira, as we have, I mean, a fantastic season. Bryce Rodriguez electing to do essentially a lap of honor, not passing the championship winner. I mean, what a race we had, what a championship we had, and well, looks like we do have a few celebrations coming on into the gravel trap. I mean, I'm excited to hear from each and every single driver if we could.
Yeah, I wish we could talk to all 32 that showed up tonight. Unfortunately, that would keep us here until about next month, which would also be next year. But, man, what a season for Pedro de Oliveira S. I don't think there's enough adjectives in the English language to describe the season he's had. It's just been incredible. I think we can simplify it down to that word, incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. It has been amazing, perfect at points. And, I mean, all the hard work, all those practice hours that he has put in were definitely paid off. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be really, really happy at this point in time. I mean, we're going to talk to him in a few minutes.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so as well.
I would hope so, yeah.
If he doesn't come into the broadcast booth screaming, "It's a championship," I'm going to be disappointed because at this point, I'll be screaming my lungs out, but well done to him. As we're going to take a look at the replay to see what happened on the final lap for the battle for second place. And unfortunately for these two, it ended up being a battle for the final step of the podium.
Yeah, this was the battle that we were kind of missing behind Pedro, but it was worth it, I think, to give Pedro that time. He deserves it. This is the battle for second as it were. Through the carousel, and something happens down in Canada corner. I dare say Fabio Zamperlini taking a crack at second place. And I think it's worth it to Fabio, of course. I mean, he's got to make up as many points as he can, try and get some spots, but also just for pride. After such a fantastic season last time through, clinching the championship at Donington Park, you certainly want to back that up with a good win, a good race at least here, just deep into the breakings over Canada corner. Spins Bryce around, but the sportsmanship. Round of applause, please. The sportsmanship from Fabio Zamperlini to allow Bryce to get back going. Yes. Just yes.
Yeah, 100%. That's I mean, a run of applause. That's what you do. That's what you should do. Owned up to his mistake, obviously costing him and Bryce a position each. But I mean, stopping and willing to give up that final spot of the podium and probably even second place. Huge props to him. Obviously, a mistake, his fault. But I mean, what a driver. I guess that's one of the reasons he was the reigning champion. Not the greatest of seasons for him, but I mean, even after the contact, that's a good way to send off season 2, isn't it? A good sportsmanship act, a good driver. Unfortunately for him, didn't go his way, but I mean, he sent it off in a good way.
Bit of netcode there maybe for these two, but still turns the number 299 around. And again, this is one of my personal highlights of the season. Seeing a driver in the heat of battle on the final lap in one of the final corners stop for the competitor that he has just spun out. Now, Matthew Dench, he's got all right? He's got all right to go on by those two and take those spots. But Fabio Zamperlini waits for Bryce Rodriguez, who was sent nearly to the tire barriers in Canada corner, one of the fastest parts of Road America. Lets the 299 get righted, get back going with just enough time for them each to hang on to third and fourth on the racetrack. Fantastic stuff. I don't know the words to I guess, translate into Portuguese, but I just, seriously, yes, just that, I think, speaks volumes as to Fabio's character as a race car driver, as a competitor. Seriously, tip of the cap, high five, whatever you want for Fabio Zampolini. Just yes.
100%, couldn't agree more. Trying to think about the words in Portuguese, I guess, cavalheiro, a gentleman on and off track, and I mean, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be hoping for more, but I mean, sometimes attitude will overcome, I mean, even bad results, and I mean, what more can I say? I guess I'm happy the way he finished the season off, you know, with a good act like that, and well, on to the next one.
Absolutely, on to the next one we will go. Well, I guess before that, we'll go on to some post-race interviews. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We just saw some fantastic racing for 60 minutes, but it doesn't stop necessarily. We get to talk to the drivers, the stars of this North American Racing League that are building themselves up and sometimes cutting others down. A whole season, 8 races at some fantastic venues. Let's recap them for a moment. Monza, Watkins Glen, Spa, Belle Isle, Silverstone, Hungaroring, Phillip Island, Road America. A fantastic set of 8 races. It's all been done now. The racing is out of here. Now, stewards, they get to figure out the end of the season here. Thankfully, no safety cars. They just have to count up points and decide a champion. We'll wait for official confirmation before calling anybody but Pedro the champion. We know that he won this race, but everything else still up to be decided. We've got a lot to talk about here on the far side of a quick break. Do not go anywhere. Stick around with us here at PitStopTV. We thank you for doing so.
For those who competed decades ago, speeding down highways, through towns, country roads. For those who sat watching on the sides of the street, who found solace in chaos and thunderous speed. Even for those who grew up without the sights and the sounds, and lived without race cars shaking the ground. Who don't understand why racing appeals to our fascination, wonder, and the way that we feel. A purpose-built place to camp and spend time with friends, watching racing together until darkness descends. Though no longer do the streets rumble and roar, there's a place just for this, a park to explore.
A road racing circuit before the assault. The 4 twisting, beautiful miles at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For 6 brutal, ear-shattering hours, its serenity will be violated by the raw power of screaming racing machines. It's the famed end-of-season endurance classic, the Road America 500. The specially constructed race circuit at Elkhart Lake at normal speed is a scenic 4-mile drive through fall-tinted Wisconsin countryside.
Hidden by forests near Elkhart Lake, not a path nor trail, but a road meant to race. In a town too quiet, the refuge we seek, Road America, the racetrack, the national park of speed.
SoundArt introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of 2 products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. SoundArt ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome back to the virtual Road America in the virtual Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. A fantastic stretch of some 4 miles or so of pavement up in Wisconsin that weathers the test of time, weathers the test of seasons up in the Great White, well, almost the Great White North anyways, the northern end of the Midwest. This place stands true as one of America's best racing venues, be it North or South America. It's a fantastic place to end this North American Racing League series then. Man, it has been a fantastic season of racing. Again, from Monza, Watkins Glen, I gotta think, what was third there? For the life of me, it just does Spa. Spa was third, then we had Belle Isle, Silverstone, Hungaroring, Phillip Island, now Road America to end the season. It's been fantastic the entire way through. We've had the pleasure of bringing you these live broadcasts week in, week out for all of you fans, drivers, teams, sponsors, whatever it may be, to watch along with us, and we certainly appreciate it. We appreciate the time given to us here by the North American Racing League. It's been a fun one, but JP, let's get right down to it. Champion time at Road America, and it all starts with Pedro de Oliveira S.
Assim, sensacional sua, basicamente controlou o ritmo quando precisou, segurou um pouco e passou. Conta aí, como é que foi essa corrida do título?
Boa noite, João, boa noite a todo mundo, good night everybody. Cara, foi uma corrida muito complexa, porque eu tive algumas situações ali que eu quase perdi o carro. A Ferrari não era o carro mais seguro para essa pista. O novo BOP mudou bastante a característica dos carros, o setup, a gente usa um setup diferente do que as oficiais, então não casou tão bem, mas ao mesmo tempo que era um carro muito difícil de guiar, eu senti que era o carro mais rápido, pelo menos na minha mão era o carro mais rápido, então eu aceitei a dificuldade, treinei bastante para conseguir vir forte, então foi bem tenso, a corrida toda o Bryce ficou ali pertinho e o Bryce estava com um ritmo excelente, eu acho que ele não acertou a volta de quali dele. Eu sabia que ele vinha forte, eu tinha treinado no servidor de terça-feira com ele e ele estava bem rápido. Na terça-feira eu não consegui pegar o tempo dele, tive que treinar bastante para conseguir ajustar alguns detalhes e sair daqui com a certeza de ter sido campeão.
Obviamente, é uma coisa que a gente já esperava, né? Tu falou que o Bryce estava com um ritmo bom, então ele tinha treinado para tentar tirar esse título, mas obviamente ia ser muito, muito difícil, né? Seu ritmo foi muito forte durante a temporada, né? Teus resultados, poxa, Monza segundo lugar, Watkins Spa primeiro, Belle Isle foi teu pior resultado em oitavo, né? Depois a gente teve Silverstone e Hungaroring em primeiro e Phillip Island em segundo. Cara, como é que você trouxe essa consistência na tua primeira temporada aqui na NARL?
Eu acho que eu consegui evitar os acidentes, né? Os momentos ruins. Eu tive sempre na minha cabeça de evitar ao máximo alguma disputa mais ferrenha, por mais que eu tive várias, principalmente com o Matthew e com o Bryce. Eu treinei bastante para todas as etapas, então eu acho que os resultados foram, né, pagos, né? Eu consegui bons resultados porque eu treinei bastante, então eu tive... Todo campeão tem que ter um pouquinho de sorte, né? A gente viu no último final de semana o Max Verstappen e sempre vai precisar. E eu tive a sorte de não me envolver em nenhum grande acidente, eu tive um resultado ruim, que foi Belle Isle, e ainda eu cheguei aqui com um bom resultado para descartar, né? Ainda tendo a possibilidade de caso algo de ruim acontecesse, eu ainda tinha um resultado para descartar. Então, muito treino e cabeça para não errar, para manter o foco. Eu sempre falei aqui que é uma corrida de cada vez, step by step, e eu consegui trazer esse título para casa, para full time. E é isso.
E isso era uma das coisas que eu queria te perguntar. O que esse título, né, significa pra você e pra Full Time aqui na primeira temporada de ambos, né? Você e a primeira temporada do time.
Sim. Pra mim é muito bom voltar a vencer um campeonato. Fazia algum tempo já que isso não acontecia. Então, hoje, novamente, para a maioria das pessoas, eu acredito que não são brasileiras, não sabem o que a Full Time é. A Full Time é uma equipe de competição, né, do automobilismo real, ela compete na Stock Car, ela é parceira da Toyota Gazoo, então é uma equipe de ponta na maior categoria de automobilismo do Brasil, e a gente tem essa divisão de virtual, né, do automobilismo virtual, e representar a Full Time já é uma situação maravilhosa. Poder vencer pela Full Time é melhor ainda, e ser campeão é deixar o nome registrado ali. Né? Essa temporada, entre outras ligas que a equipe corre, esse é o terceiro campeonato de pilotos, então já na primeira temporada gravar o nome ali dentro de casa é sempre muito bom.
Bom, eu garanto que vai ser ótimo e obviamente tu vai ficar na história, né? NRL, primeira temporada, primeiro campeão, basicamente ganhou o campeonato inteiro, só faltou algumas corridas. Mas é isso, Pedro. Super orgulhoso de novamente ter mais um brasileiro campeão aqui, né? Na última temporada foi o Fábio Zamperlini, dessa vez você, então os brasileiros dominando aqui e mostrando como é que se faz. E com isso, cara, eu vou te deixar festejar aí na tua casa, desejar para você uma boa noite e espero falar contigo na próxima temporada.
Obrigado, João. Obrigado. Só agradecer os patrocinadores da equipe, que é a Logitech e a B8 Seguros. And I'll try to speak a little bit in English. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to support us. Thank you to all those guys who's watching. So I'm so happy. Congrats, Scott, for this league. I love to race here. So that's it. Thank you very much, guys.
Well, there you go. That was Pedro de Oliveira. Obviously, our champion, our new reigning champion now. Fantastic result for him. Fantastic season for him. And now, Andrew, we'll go to the translation of each and every single question and answer. Obviously, I had to talk to him about his race. It was obviously an amazing race for him in controlling the pace, managing the gap, managing the pressure. He said it was a complex race for him. The Ferrari wasn't a safe choice. He said that with the new BOP, the car wasn't really marrying, as we say in English. It wasn't really a perfect couple with car and track. So it was quite tricky, but on his hands, it was the faster car, so he decided to go for it. And he knew it was going to be a tough race because on Tuesday, the official practice session for the NARL was up, and Rice was absolutely the faster driver around there. So he kind of got a little bit spooky, but managed to put in great laps in qualifying and managed to get pole position. When we talked about his season so far, what he done over the course of the season, he said that he was just avoiding absolutely everything that could, result in anything bad. So avoiding crashes, avoiding hard battles that may have gotten out of hand. A lot of practice, and he said a lot of luck as well. Every single champion he mentioned needs luck at one point in time, and he got his luck throughout the season. So he's really, really happy. He was lucky to not get involved in any major crashes that ended his race quite early. And even came here to the final round with one bad result to throw away, the burner round. And his burner round was in 8th place. So a fantastic race. And obviously I asked him, what does this mean, coming in the first season on NARL for you and for full-time esports. For him, he said it's good to win a championship once again. It has been a long time since he won a championship. He said that representing full-time esports is an even better thing, and winning a championship for them, it's great writing his name on the history of the team. Obviously, the team is brand new. It was launched this year, and he's already the 3rd drivers champion that they have on official, leagues. So it's quite nice for him, and obviously for the team, just writing their name on the iRacing platform. Full-time is, as I mentioned before, it's a stock car team, on Brazilian stock car team. And a partner with Toyota Gazoo, so a really strong team who's just making more headlines on the virtual world.
And absolutely, Tony Kanon's full-time racing has been fantastic. His full-time esports has been fantastic. It's all been really cool to watch the progression of throughout 2021 and beyond, I'm sure, for many great years for full-time racing and full-time esports here on the iRacing.com platform, and I'm sure other platforms as well. We're going to move things down to 2nd place finisher, I think, by surprise even to him, Matthew Dench for... I gotta get this right. Frog Leap Juiced Racing Team, I do believe. The number 283 looking good again. Matthew Dench, 2nd week in a row. Didn't think I'd be talking to you again, especially with about 5 minutes to go. You were looking like 4th, a little ways back of those two ahead. What happened on the final lap that you saw into Canada Corner?
Just some last lap shenanigans. Wasn't close enough to see exactly what happened, but it opened up the door for 2nd place, so I can't complain too much.
And obviously a fantastic season for you, but a few missteps. You got 3 wins in the season, but you're not up there battling for this championship. What do you do in 2022 to maybe take a new approach with a new team, Frog Leap Juiced Racing Team? What do you do maybe, what do you adjust potentially for next year?
Might try and get a hold of another couple of coaching sessions in the off season. It was just little mistakes, just single mistakes in the race causing a spin here and there, and it's cost a couple of wins, unfortunately. But yeah.
And it seems like this team of yours that you've recently joined has a pretty big presence. We're going to see some more teammates from Frog Leap with you in 2022 here in the North American Racing League.
I don't think the timeline, like the time zones, work out too well for them for this race, unfortunately.
Well, hey, even if we just have one beautiful bright blue car to look at, I think that will suffice. Congratulations, first of all, Matthew, on another fantastic season, and best of luck to you. I think that championship is on the way. Of course, it didn't happen last season. I hate to remind you of it this season as well, but it's got to be on the way at some point. Congratulations on another fantastic season, 3 wins to boot, and we cannot wait to see how 2022 goes for you.
Yeah, definitely look forward to next season. Be doing the GT3s and the Porsche Cup as well, so it should be great fun.
Thank you so much for your time, buddy. Again, congratulations. We'll see you then. And man, I think JP, the world is certainly looking up for Matthew Dench. It's a matter of how 2022 starts off for him. But I think by all means, the number 283 should be in the conversation for races to come when we get back to racing here in 2022 with these guys. We do need to move things on down the line, though. A couple of drivers to speak with, and we're first going to bring in second place finisher in amateur Pablo Ferretti. We're going to hand him over to JP Costa.
So Pablo, I mean, a fantastic race. Somehow you brought a McLaren into the silver. I mean, second place on a McLaren on a track like this that was dominated by Ferraris all throughout the day. I mean, how difficult is to drive this car around this racetrack?
Well, it's critical. The McLaren is not gonna forgive you for any kind of mistake. So you need a lot of concentration. But I love this car, and I train really hard this week to keep it on track. Don't touch the grass on the turns. It's super twitchy on brakes. You need to brake just in the exact point. If you brake too late, it's gonna kill you. So it's hard to negotiate, but I'm really happy with the results.
Well, I can certainly imagine. We talked to you around Silverstone. You know, you matched your best place finish of the season in second place. I mean, your season, obviously, you came into this round in sixth place. You're probably gonna jump a lot of people. I mean, how do you rate your season? How do you review your season so far?
The biggest pain of this season was Watkins. I managed to get the P1 on the qualify, and I made a mistake. I lose the car all by myself on lap 2. I'm really fast on Watkins, so I was counting on a good result with that. Then comes Hungaroring, a new track for me, so I spent 2 weeks training and learning the track. And sadly, on lap 2, I get involved in an accident. A guy in front of us just spin on the chicane. I braked, the people behind me didn't brake and destroyed my McLaren. So it's racing. What can I say? You need a lot of luck too. It's not always be fast and secure, but depends on other people too.
Yeah, 100%. That's something that, you know, Pedro de Oliveira, the pro champion, just touched upon. You know, you need luck sometimes to win a championship. Unfortunately, luck hasn't been on your side throughout the season, but, you know, coming into season 3, how do you rate your chances? How are you going to prepare differently from what you did in season 2?
Well, I will try to bring my McLaren to all the tracks that I think is competitive. We will receive a lot of new drivers because it's gonna be separate from the pros now, so probably it's gonna be, I don't know, 40 or 40 something drivers. I know the guys from now, Diego, William, Benjamin, they are super fast, so probably it's gonna be harder than now, but well, if you wanna win, you need to sweat.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely not going to be easy. I guess we can crown you our McLaren champion maybe of the season. Andrew might be correcting me on that one, but I'm pretty sure you stuck with the McLaren throughout the season. You know, you persevered through it, and you brought the best results. I mean, on a tricky car, we know how difficult the McLaren is, but, you know, props to you. But before I let you go and let you celebrate the end of the season, who do you have to thank for your result here today?
First of all, my family. My wife take care of the kids to bring me some time to train, and my team that's supporting me. They are not bothering me while I'm racing in the North American Racing League. So I'm really grateful for them. They help me to practice and show me some mistakes that I'm doing on the track. So they are an important part of this effort.
Well, there you go. I'm pretty sure they're happy with you. Obviously, right now you're gonna have some time to rest. So, all I can wish you is a very, very happy Christmas, a very, very happy New Year, and well, I hope I can talk to you way more in season 3 next year.
Thank you very much. I hope so. Take care, guys.
Well, Andrew, that was Pablo Ferretti, our second place finisher on the amateur class here today. Somehow he made a McLaren once again on second place, and well, I was glad to talk to him once again. So, I mean, he's happy, and well, he sounds confident for next season. So maybe a name we should look out for.
Certainly, I think Pablo Ferretti has been on my radar ever since his pole back at Watkins Glen, race number 2. I've just known the name Pablo Ferretti since then. Watch out for this guy in amateur next season. If he's able to put 8 races together, Pablo Ferretti certainly will be in the talking points, in the rounds that we make around the amateur class in the North American Racing League. We're going to move on down to our, I think, expected champion for the amateur class, William Coffey. And boy, William, where to start? It was not a good day for the number 157. What happened in qualifying? Why were you so far back? And what happened in those early laps? Looks like William is muted. Hopefully, well, if he doesn't know that he's muted, you can hear me talking and saying that he's muted. And there we go. Yep, I see him unmute.
There we go.
But yeah, I'll just pass right back over to you.
Yeah, so in qualifying, I didn't do myself any favors. I was thrown in my actual qualifying first lap. I was actually going to throw out a pretty awesome lap. Excuse me, I was able to get on the board, and then by the second one, I was like, all right, I think I'm going to actually be top of the chart for lap 2. But I ended up touching that grass right in the last turn, and it just really screwed me up, spun me, and then at that point, like, there's no way to not only resolve that lap, but now you're halfway down the straightaway for the final lap, and there's just no way to get that speed back. So it was just awful. So, man, that was rough, man. And then you got to deal with all the antics at the back of the pack. That it was just rough, man. That was not my favorite race by any stretch.
Well, let's talk about the positives. From 31st at one point, up to 16th at the end of the race, as high as 13th during pit cycles. It's looking like you should still hang on to this championship. I don't want to speak until I see official word, but at least not too officially until I see official word, but it's looking like you should be the champion. How does that feel? And to even be in the conversation and to potentially have this championship?
Oh, man, it feels great, dude. I worked so hard just putting in the hours and the laps every single week, just trying to making sure that I was at the top 5. That's all I really wanted to be, was top 5, don't bump anybody, you know. And then I can't believe that I'm at the top. I think we had a discussion like 3 or 4 races ago. I didn't honestly believe that I'd be here. So I'm just ecstatic, man. I can't even convey, like, I can't believe I'm here. So there's such fast drivers and amazing talent out there, and I learned so much chasing these guys around and watching how they do certain things, and then different cars, and gave me some better ideas. I switched cars just because I was watching them, and so I learned a lot. But there's definitely faster drivers out there that definitely deserve to be up here too. I guess just somehow luckily put it all together consistently.
Yeah, I mean, the 157 was always in the conversation. It felt like you were always there. Weren't necessarily going for the win, other than a couple of times more recently at Hungaroring and Phillip Island, but you were always there, just enough, like on the other side of things in the pro category, mirroring some of their tendencies, being consistent. How does that change? Do you stay consistent? Do you focus on maybe a little more speed? What do you change in a 2022 with or without this championship?
I got to keep finding some speed. I already noticed from, like, after race 4, like from race 5 and on, like, I had to have speed or else I never would have been up here. Like, I'm going to have to get more sessions with Daniel Morad, and I've been doing a bunch of time with him. He's been awesome. He's been finding me times, a little bit of pieces of tenths here and there on the track, just doing simple things. I got to just really do my homework and start studying, like, what is it that makes these super fast esports guys fast, and what it is, you know. I just got to start trying to adopt it, and it's just going to be just laps on track, man. There's no magic button, unfortunately. I'm just going to have to study with, or train with Morad and study on the side, and just hope it all connects when it comes, you know, I don't screw everything up in qualifying after that.
So let's assume that you're champion. I think that's pretty safe right now. Only a couple of spots behind Diego when it was said and done.
Right.
2022, are you going for Porsche Cup races? Are you just doing GT3? Are you doing both? And if you do both, specifically GT3, do you change the car at all? Do you potentially go for a Porsche, a Lambo? What do you do there? Do you play it by the race? What do you do?
I think I'm going to play it by the race. There's something about the Ferrari that I think it's got a little bit of magic in it right now, maybe because it's a newer
Could that
car.
be called the BOP?
It could be called the BOP. So, as you know, when there's a new car, there's always like the new hotness. The BMW was all the rage last season. But so we'll see what happens if they drop something new on us. I don't think they might. Maybe that'll be the cool car. But for some reason, there's something about the Audi and the Lambo that I just can't seem to connect. It doesn't fit my driving style. So all the other cars for my throttle style seem to be just fine. I can usually connect with all of them. The Ferrari just for some reason just seemed to be kind of like what you see with my racing, which is just like it's consistent. It's not going to surprise you with any weird bumps or the rear end coming out or anything like that. Like I just chose the car because it was a top contender, but also just because it was, I hate to say it, but easy to drive. And watching all these races and these guys and their crazy fast cars, like the Audi was like, Audi or Lambo was crazy fast, but they had to connect every single lap. And if they screwed up one lap, all I had to do was just be there to capitalize, right? So Ferrari was just a game plan. It wasn't just the best car, but it was just the best car to be ready if there was an opportunity,
I've also noticed on the door, long shot, esports brigade, or is that racing brigade? Regardless, long shot. I think that's a perfect way to sum up this season for you. But it seems like a new team. Tell us about that team. I noticed it on, identical livery, just green on Joshua's car. How does that change things into next year?
So him and I teamed up for this particular season. He is awesome for going out there, giving me good critiques, and just basically, he has like super fast race, and he has some races he struggles a little bit. But like I think when we get together, like we're very good at critiquing each other and just finding that speed here and there. So he agreed to, thank goodness for me, he agreed to be my teammate again for season 3. So we changed our name to Long Shot Racing Brigade just because it just seemed like a cool thing, and we do feel like the long shot, So it was just like, if we make it, cool. So it just kind of seemed to go with our driving styles, right? But yeah, we're gonna do the Porsche Cup together. We're gonna do the GT3 season together. He's a great partner to have just because he is a fast guy. He can, and he's also just willing to be critical,
Absolutely. It's always good to have an ally, somebody who can be critical and can give you pointers to keep progressing. So, again, congratulations. Fantastic season. Nice, consistent season. You did what you needed to do tonight as well. I think this is one of your shining moments of the season, so congratulations to pushing through all of the adversity today, especially being 31st so earlier on in this race. Congratulations, William Coffey, on a fantastic season, a projected championship, I think that's pretty safe, and a team championship as well. It was Rabbit Chase, now Long Shot. That is big. Congratulations, live it up, celebrate, but not too much. We gotta have you back in February.
Yeah, I'll be here, soberish. All right, thank you guys so much. I appreciate everything you do, and it's just been an absolute blast of a season. You guys made it just that much better. Thank you so much.
Hey, you did all the work out there with the wheel in your hands. Congratulations again. That's William Coffey in the number 157, and he's just narrowly beating out one Mr. Diego. And Diego drove a great race himself, maybe a little shy of what he needed today, but fantastic. Kept the car out of trouble, kept the car clean, JP, and that's why we're talking to him next.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a fantastic qualifying pace, but unfortunately the race did not come together. Tell us, Diego, what happened in the race? What happened in those first few laps of the race that unfortunately you couldn't really keep a strong lap time to retain that lead?
Pablo, ¿podemos hablar español?
Sí.
Un poquito.
Bom, vamos lá. Mi espanhol no es muy bueno, pero vamos a tentar.
My English too bad.
Bom, vamos tentar então. Tu ritmo en qualifying es muy fuerte. Conseguí la posición número 1, pero en la corrida, I mean, tu ritmo. There you go.
Sí, te entendí en inglés y te entendí también ahora. Sentía que el auto no lo podía llevar, hacía 27 grados y lo sentía muy rebaloso, me patinaba y se me acercaba uno y me pasaba, entonces perdía tiempo y se me acercaba otro más de atrás y me pasaba, entonces no podía en ningún momento lograr el ritmo en el primer stint del tanque. Entonces traté de calmarme, después a la entrada a boxes para entrar a cargar combustible lo empecé a sentir un poco más estable y ahí empecé a afirmarme en el ritmo. Pero estaba muy difícil la pista, yo la sentía al menos muy difícil.
Y también esa dificultad con el ritmo, infelizmente le costó el campeonato. Obviamente tú terminaste en segundo lugar. Fue muy perto. William Coffey tive um terrível começo de corrida e tu estava lá na frente. Nós acreditamos que por um momento tu tienes uma chance de ganhar o campeonato na última corrida, pero infelizmente não aconteceu. Como tu se siente em relação a isso?
Yo tuve las últimas 3 carreras, las anteriores, tuve en el callejero, que no me acuerdo cómo se llama. Tuve el circuito en la ciudad. ¿Cuál fue?
It was das 3 últimas corridas: Silverstone, Hungaroring, Phillip Island.
Phillip Island. Ahí se me desconectó, venía primero en mi categoría AM y se me desconectó internet. Después en la siguiente me chocaron de atrás y perdí la carrera. Y en esta última carrera, la anterior, venía primero también y a la salida de box pisé el césped, pisé el pasto y también me fue mal. Tuve un principio de campeonato muy bueno y después, bueno, estas últimas 3 carreras que no pude sumar bien, entonces perdí el campeonato porque Coffey venía muy consistente y muy parejo en todos los resultados de las fechas del campeonato.
Infelizmente es como tú dices, suerte precisa estar de ese lado algumas veces no campeonato e infelizmente não estava del seu lado. Dito isso, como tu se prepara para a próxima temporada?
Con muchas ganas, con muchas ganas. Este es mi primer campeonato para mi equipo, GPBA Racing Team. Recién ahora estamos empezando a correr campeonatos individuales. Venimos de un año que es el año en el que empezamos en pandemia. Venimos de un año de correr todas carreras endurance de larga duración. Este es mi primer campeonato como individual y en un campeonato privado. Y ya conseguir un subcampeonato me pone con muchísimas ganas para la temporada 3 de la GT3.
Bom, Diego, eu sinto por você ficar tão perto do campeonato, mas infelizmente perdê-lo na última corrida. Obviamente, resultados serão confirmados nos próximos minutos, nas próximas horas. Pero muito bueno falar contigo novamente. Nós falamos em Watkins Glen, se não estou, se não estou errado. Pero espero falar contigo próxima temporada mucho mais.
Ojalá, vamos a entrenar para eso, para estar ahí arriba tratando de pelear lo máximo posible.
Exato, espero falar contigo na próxima temporada. Te desejo Feliz Natal e Feliz Ano Novo.
Bien, ¿puedo agradecer?
Oh, claro, por favor.
Bien, dejarme agradecer a mi equipo GPBA Racing Team. Es un equipo nuevo que tiene un año. Somos 15, 16, 17 pilotos que estamos formándonos y aprendiendo mucho. Y hemos crecido mucho en este último año, que es el año de vida que tiene el equipo. Le quiero agradecer a Ramiro 10 por la gran oportunidad que me dio, por estar en este campeonato. Agradecerles a ustedes y a North American Racing League, que han hecho un campeonato fantástico, ideal. Y le quiero agradecer primero a mi spotter, Héctor Fiori, un fenómeno. Patito, que siempre me estuvo al lado mío en las últimas carreras, y a Augusto, que hace las transmisiones, y a todos los demás chicos del equipo, y a mis sponsors, que son Natural Sur, Piferno, La Porfía, Fungaski, Alfajores Jorgito, Municipalidad de Azul, Espero no olvidarme de algunos, sé que me estoy olvidando, pero bueno, un agradecimiento a todos ellos que hacen posible que estemos en este camino de inicio en mi racing y con muy buenas vistas para el futuro.
Garanto que todos estão muito felizes com seu resultado e novamente, desejo para você e para sua família felizes festas de fim de ano.
Muchas gracias, igualmente. Felices fiestas para todos.
Well, Andrew, that was my take on Spanish. Wasn't the best. Diego can really vouch for that, but tried my best. And, well, I got a few informations off of him. First things first, obviously, he said the car was very tricky to drive with full fuel. I'm pretty sure he mentioned maybe the wind and the temperatures kind of, allowed the car to be more difficult for him. Obviously, he mentioned that he couldn't really get into a rhythm on the race due to, just losing positions. Every time you're battling someone, you cannot really lose that position or hold into that position without compromising a little bit of lap time. So in the first few laps, it was really, really tricky to do that. Obviously, when I mentioned his championship coming so close, he mentioned that on the past few rounds, he had problems with the internet, contact with other racing drivers, and unfortunately for that, kind of a lot of points took out of his hands for no fault of his own. But he mentioned, that's the way championships are. You need luck to win a championship, and obviously, unfortunately, luck wasn't on his side on these past 3 races. But obviously, he mentioned this was his first championship for his team. It's a brand new team. They started off in the pandemic, and it's his first personal championship as well. So, only room for improvement for here on out. And, well, he's excited for next season. He's said he's going to put up a lot of practice, a lot of practice to try and make something work. And, well, for his first season as a new member of his team in his first personal championship, I'm gonna say he did pretty well.
Appreciate all of that, JP. We certainly do. Mi español también es malo, pero por eso tenemos JP. That's why we have JP around. I can get by, not very well, but seriously, JP, we appreciate the bilingual, almost trilingual assets that you bring to the table. Seriously, it helps a ton. Results tonight from Road America. Pedro de Oliveira S, of course, taking over. I don't think anyone is at all surprised to see that. He's just so good in those full-time esports Ferraris. Right on top, where he's been all season long. Matthew Dench, second place, kind of feels like where he should have finished tonight, although you can make the argument, of course, for Bryce Rodriguez and his efforts this evening. Fabio Zamperlini, after their contact, finishes right behind Bryce in 4th spot. Brian DeVries, another top 5 for that number 221. That is huge, right in front of Kevin Sandiego, who he was racing for 3rd in the points. So, provisionally, before we get the results and everything, the championship standings, at least in the top 3, should read Pedro de Oliveira S, Pedro de Oliveira S, Bryce Rodriguez, and then Brian DeVries or Matthew Dench. Depending on how those sort out, it's going to be very, very close. Those two may even be tied, prompting the tiebreaker for Matthew Dench. Kevin Sandiego should drop to either with Matthew Dench or behind Matthew Dench. I'm very, very intrigued to see how that all sorts out. What we do know, though, is Scott Kimbrough finishes 7th tonight, Pierre Thompson 8th, Austin Powell with the amateur win in 9th, and Pablo Ferretti 10th place.
In 11th place, looks like we're gonna have the amateur driver of, I'm just waiting official confirmation, of Jackson Rezende. There we go. So Jackson Rezende wrapping up his season. Unfortunately for him, it's going to be a winless season. He's going to be wrapping up in 11th place. A good comeback, Andrew, if you think about it, starting off well outside the top 30, I guess 31st or 32nd place. So jumping up a lot of positions, finish off in 11th place. Mark Scott is going to be finished off in 12th. A good return to Mark Scott. Unfortunately, did not have the best of previous races for him. But, he comes back with a 12th place. Carl Reiser, unfortunately, after his late pit stop, is going to be finished off in 13th place. Ahead of the man who we just spoke, Diego Ere, he's going to be finished off in 14th place on the race, but 2nd place in the championship. Mike Braun is going to be finished off in 15th place. Ahead of our champion, provisionally, William Coffey in the 157. Red James Rodriguez is going to be finished off in 17th place, ahead of Matthew Casey, who should finish up in 3rd on the amateurs championship. William Valdez is going to be finished off in 19th, ahead of Sonny Brown in 20th place.
finishing 21st tonight at Road America, it is none other than Joshua Benjamin, teammate to, again, provisional projected champion William Coffey, and in that long shot racing brigade stable, Rob Rodriguez then comes home 22nd, Daniel Hall 23rd, and Kenneth Michael 24th. Those are all of your lead lap competitors. Dominic Angelicchio ends up in 25th. I think really deserved a whole lot better today. Unfortunately, a couple of incidents taking him out of the running. Armando Bejarran finishes 26th. Osmar Camargo finishes 27th. Not sure exactly what happened with him other than the incident that we saw in turn 6. Johnny Jones 28th. Brian Long 29th, and Blake Scott in 30th. The back three cars then, I guess two cars actually in the results, are going to be Jeff Castillo, Billy Barabin, and Sean Patterson does make the results, but did not start this race. So 33 cars, that's how it gets broken down. What a race.
Yeah, what a fantastic race. Battles all throughout the grid. Unfortunately, a few incidents, but I mean, fantastic. Unfortunately, only 3 lead changes. That does not tell the whole story.
But I feel like that's more than usual.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, sometimes we're seeing only one car leading off. It almost feels like...
Usually it feels like Pedro should have led the entire race. Tonight, no. There was an entire segment there led by Bryce Rodriguez, and Matthew Dench even got some laps led. So really good racing tonight, I feel.
Yes, exactly. I mean, and that just shows the quality of the NARL grid, doesn't it? Throughout the season, throughout this 8 rounds, we didn't even have a bad round, let's say. Each and every single race, they have provided us with great racing. And I mean, cannot wait. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss these guys for the next few weeks until season 3 begins. And well, I cannot wait. I cannot wait, Andrew, to see these guys back on track, and I cannot wait to see what's on store for season 3, because this schedule was absolutely amazing. I'm gonna say it once again, you're gonna hate me. It not including Interlagos might be a crime, might be a federal offense, but I mean, it was a pretty good season schedule.
I'll be sure to lodge that complaint on behalf of PitStopTV with Scott Reister. We'll see how far that one gets, but hey, you know what? I'm just going to say I've heard that Interlagos is on the way again. But this was the season schedule for this past season, so look back on it, and just so many great moments throughout each of these 8 races. It's so hard to believe now that we've been through 18 total races of North American Racing League action. You might be wondering, well, if we had 2 8 race seasons, that's 16. Well, we of course had, back up. We of course had the first annual Streamer Championship back in June. That kind of got the whole party going. That got it all started off, and that was certainly a treat to be around for at Road Atlanta. That got everything rolling. Then we had the first season of racing. Then we had the North American Racing League Cash Days event at Long Beach back in September. That 4-hour race was really cool to be a part of. We had some great times, great laughs, great drama throughout that race, and certainly just a good time to be around for. And we appreciate the event that kind of turned into here from NRL, and we appreciate this series that we had from NARL. There's great racing all the way through. It's really crazy to believe that it's already over, and I mean, we're less than 10 days now away from Christmas in 2021. Where has this year gone? Well, I can tell you where it's going to continue going for the rest of 2021. Anyways, a few more broadcasts coming up here at PitStopTV. This actually runs through Christmas, in between USA International Speedway and Kokomo Speedway. They're pictured for the BRPI Racing Series. One more road course race we've got for points, anyways, here in the year for PitStopTV. That is Sunday. This Sunday, that would be the 18th, I want to say. No, 19th. Yes, the 19th, I believe. Let me count. 17, 8, yes, December 19th, I promise. 8:45 p.m. Eastern, we've got Watkins Glen International for the Superior Class Auto Racing Grid Sports Car Championship. JP and I shall be right back on that one for all of the action, and it's at the brand new, remastered, redone, rescanned, rebuilt Watkins Glen International Speedway. You can see it there with the red and yellow curbing rather, and the brand new pavement, a bunch of new runoff as well. That's going to change things up in those GT1 cars. Then, again, like I said, BRPI Racing Series, a couple more races here in 2021. USA International Speedway coming up this week. Then Kokomo Speedway on the far side of Christmas. That one, let's be honest, Christmas, it could alter some plans, but that is scheduled for December the 27th. So watch out for that one. And then we might just have something just in time for New Year's. So keep an eye out for that as well. A few more plans, maybe one extra broadcast here in 2021 before it's all said and done. Before we get on any further, I do want to quickly say happy birthday to my great grandma Vel. I won't say the age on here, but she has definitely lived her fair share of years on this earth, and she's around for one more. Cannot wait to see her again. That said, JP, we've got a few more a few more things to talk about, including social media, or maybe my grandma Vel can keep tabs with PitStopTV.
I'm sure she'll be more than happy to keep tabs on that. Obviously, you can follow us for live coverage, and obviously, even updates on Facebook.com/PitStopTV, on Twitter.com/PitStopTV. You're gonna see live coverage, amazing pictures, and obviously news and informations of always upcoming broadcasts and upcoming series. On Instagram as well, you're gonna have all of that on Instagram.com/pit_stop_TV, and obviously our live coverage on YouTube and Twitch at youtube.com/PitStopTV1 for all our beautiful live voices, Andrew.
Yeah, and it's been a fun one. We have great content from, it's been a fun week. We have great content all the way back from BRP on Monday at the Cedar Lake Speedway. Caleb Gladney was there for that one. Fantastic race last night with the Outlaw Sim Series. That's one that you might want to go back and watch, especially maybe some of you that are a little more new to oval racing. That would be a good one to start with. Outlaw Sim Series Championship race. We crowned a champion last night. Greg Holt won it, but not the way you might think. So seriously, go back and watch. It's worth it. That was a lot of fun, a lot of great highlights, a lot of great quotes from those drivers as well. Look on social media for those, and of course a lot of great content from today here at Road America, and a lot more is on the way with PitStopTV. We thank you all so much for tuning in, but I gotta ask, JP, right quick before we go, keep these guys around just a few more seconds longer. Final thoughts on the season as a whole. We kind of covered it for Road America. Final thoughts on the season as a whole, and looking ahead, not just to North American Racing League racing in 2022, but just 2022 as a whole.
I mean, it was a fantastic season, even though the results may not look like that on the pro side at least. You know, it was, I guess, in each and every single aspect better than season one. You know, we had more drivers fighting for podiums. I mean, we had not a closer fight for the title. The title was, I guess, well decided before this race, but I mean, it was a fantastic round. We had tons of drivers close by on points. This race may have changed a lot of positions, both from pro and amateur side, and well, I mean, that's something you really want to see on the finale of a championship. You know, positions being dealt with on the final round. You don't want something that's already settled in and gives these guys, you know, a new opportunity to fight for on the last round. And I mean, it was fantastic, and you know, I cannot wait for season 3. I cannot wait for what NARL has to bring next, you know, on the roster. Let it be Porsche Cup, as we've seen some drivers hinting towards it. Let it be GT3 racing, whatever it may come. You know, I'm sure they're gonna give a ton of attention to season schedule, a ton of attention to rules and regulations. That's something we want to see. You know, that attention to detail, and each and every single racing league organizers need to take into consideration. Obviously, looking to 2022, I expect, you know, us to grow a lot. I mean, obviously, I want us to explode, and well, these guys are certainly gonna help us achieve that, and I cannot wait to see tons and more broadcasts for us to do, Andrew. And well, I cannot wait to be alongside you more in 2022.
And as far as looking back on this year, just again, a big thank you to all of the partners involved in this series. Race Lab, Tam Livery, and JS Consulting. Fantastic jobs done by each and every one of them, and they are all so integral in this series, in this league. They all do so much. Again, the giveaway, the activation within the series from Race Lab, all of the liveries and graphic design from Tam Livery, and of course the app development and website development from JS Consulting. It's all so important, and it makes this league what it is. And of course, our partners here at PitStopTV, we can show them off both at once, right? Tucson Sound Art, of course, does so much for us. And hey, I can't guarantee that it gets to you in time for Christmas. You might be a little behind on that, but you can still get last-minute gifts and potentially use some Christmas money at TucsonSoundArt.com. Use promo code PitStopTV to save some of your Christmas money, 10% off at checkout when you use that code. Of course, you can also go to Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. PermanentMakeupInMaine.com will get you taken care of. Maybe even with Flash Media if you want some iBroadcast cameras, freshen up your broadcast potentially if that's what you do here on the iRacing.com platform, or just see what it looks like from our broadcast cameras here at PitStopTV and Whiplash Media. There's so much potentially that Whiplash Media can do for you. Find out what Whiplash Media can do for you on Facebook. Message Whiplash Media today. We'll get you taken care of. And of course, BAM Racing videos by a race fan for the racing community. A big nod to him recently hitting 1 million views on his social media platforms. I don't know how much I can say this, but just thank you. Everybody with the North American Racing League, Scott Reister, all the drivers, teams, sponsors, fans, everybody. Just what a great effort here in 2021 to get this league off the ground, to get this league rolling, and to make it such a big thing. Consistently bringing in some of the highest viewership here on Pit Stop TV. You guys are all awesome. I'm going to repeat that. For everybody out in the back, you guys are all awesome that are watching this broadcast right now, hearing my voice, and tuning in here on Pit Stop TV. It has been a fantastic season. There's a whole lot to look back on, and a whole lot to celebrate here from 2021, and a whole lot to build on for 2022, a whole lot to learn from for the next calendar year and the next year of racing. That will do it, though, from the virtual Road America. Happy to have had you all here tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we really, really hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. For all of Pit Stop TV over an entire season of action, of course, JP Costa beside me on the mic this evening, and for every round of this series. Man, that is so cool. Trey Shuttlesworth on social media, also for every round of this series. And of course, Emerson Arden stepping in and putting in his hard work back at Silverstone when I had to take a trip. Well, not here. So we were seriously really appreciate everything that you guys did, JP, Trey, and Emerson. It means so much to me here at Pit Stop TV and everybody else here at Pit Stop TV that makes all of this happen. My name, of course, is Andrew Cardinale IV. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support throughout this entire season of racing. And good night. We'll see you in 22.
For those who competed decades ago, speeding down highways, through towns, country roads. For those who sat watching on the sides of the street, who found solace in chaos and thunderous speed. Even for those who grew up without the sights and the sounds, and live without race cars shaking the ground. Who don't understand why racing appeals to our fascination, wonder, and the way that we feel. A purpose-built place to camp and spend time with friends, watching racing together until darkness descends. Though no longer do the streets rumble and roar, there's a place just for this, a park to explore.
A road racing circuit before the assault. The 4 twisting, beautiful miles at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For 6 brutal, ear-shattering hours, its serenity will be violated by the raw power of screaming racing machines. It's the famed end-of-season endurance classic, the Road America 500. The specially constructed race circuit at Elkhart Lake at normal speed is a scenic 4-mile drive through fall-tinted Wisconsin countryside.
Hidden by forests near Elkhart Lake, not a path nor a trail, but a road meant to race. In a town too quiet, the refuge we seek, Road America, the racetrack, the national park of speed.